Hello. How are we doing today? So, today I have nothing to do. So, I'm going to be. Well, honestly, I plan to watch videos. I have a few videos to watch and wanted to watch them. But I was thinking, you know what? Maybe I should just save it for stream. So, we'll do that. Okay, wait, hold up. This music is really. This music's picking up so much. Such a good song, but not right now. I realize we haven't had that much time to ourselves. It's been a while. I've been constantly playing with other people, and I enjoyed every single bit of it. But we need some time to ourselves, just you and I. These Twitch things, they need to go up just a tiny bit, just a smidge. Okay. Twitch alerts. I realized my Twitch alert was very quiet. And I barely heard if anyone would follow or if they if anything was happening. I was like, all right, well, yep, something happened, but I'd always have to rely on the rating it, of course. Rating it. I had such a weird dream. It was a weird dream indeed, because in my dream I was playing with Razvi and everyone else, every one of my friends that I collabed with ever since my channel, ever since the people who stuck around my channel and whatnot, all those people in the highlights. I had a dream that I was playing with every single one of them, and we were playing some sort of like, I don't know, like weird like parkour game. And for some reason I was singing Animal I Have Become by why was I doing that? I was dreaming about that song and that I was singing it, and I don't know why, but I don't drink. I don't drink or anything like that. I don't do any of that stuff. But for some reason I was drunk. And we were playing some sort of really boring game that had no like end. But we all had a great time. That was a good stream in my dream. It was such a weird dream. I had to talk about it. As for Dark Souls and Devil May Cry 3, I am very sorry for holding those games back. I haven't gotten around to them. And I said I would finish Devil May Cry 3 since we got like basically nearly halfway through the game. Uh, but I don't know why I'm procrastinating on that game. I also wanted to play more Guilty Gear, but I don't feel like doing that today. As for a game that I do want to play though, we're gonna get into. Hold up, I don't even have it pulled up. Oh, there we go. I wanted to get into more Dark Souls. I wanted to finish that game. I also need to finish. I say finish the game, but I don't even know how close to the end I am. I feel like I'm like just at the beginning. That's where I think I am. Um, but I don't know. I don't know how close I am. I defeated a lot of bosses. I have 5 achievements out of 29. No. I have 5 achievements out of 36. No, 38. Yes. Okay. So I am not nearly as close to beating the game as I thought I would be. But who cares? As long as we beat the game. Is my eyes are doing weird things, huh? No, they're not. Okay, good. Have to make sure. Okay. What was I going to do? Oh yeah, and I also have like a real lot of I have a real lot of plans to like do like I don't know like some like karaoke stream, but I'm too afraid to do that. Once I'm completely bored and like run out of ideas and I've like, you know, want to risk it all, yes. Karaoke will happen. Once I'm like completely bored though. Oh wait, sorry about that. I was going to play a game for a second there, but I don't even know what game we want to play. You know what? How about we watch the video? How about that, huh? Okay. Music is gonna have to die down. Way down. The music has to go down by a lot. Okay. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay, that'll do. We're here. I'm hoping I don't get doxxed. Why do I have 2 of them? Okay. The video is called Analysis, the Consequences of Reducing the Skill Gap, and I love fighting games right now, so I'm gonna put that into there. Boom. That's the link to the video. And I wanted to watch this video before I got into gaming. Is that
the
loud?
The most significant moment in fighting game history is the
that's very loud,
also known as Moment 37.
Okay.
It's been viewed over 30 million times, featured in multiple documentaries, and of course, there's the book about it. There are a lot of reasons why it was such a big deal, but at the core of it, it was simply because it took a lot of skill.
I wish I could attend these. I honestly do.
To parry a hit in Street Fighter 3, you have to tap forward within a 10-frame window or a 1/6 of a second to succeed. Otherwise,
like,
you get
I want
hit,
to attend
which
those.
Would have killed Daigo since he only had a pixel of health left. Since Chun-Li's super requires 15 parries in a specific pattern and tempo,
it's more of like
Daigo had to time each one perfectly in order to survive. It's like playing a stricter Guitar Hero with 15 invisible notes and no music to follow. Add tournament pressure to the situation, and it becomes seemingly impossible to pull off. But how iconic would Moment 37 be if you could succeed just by doing this? Not very impressive, but this is actually me successfully parrying Chun-Li's super in Street Fighter V.
What?
Needless to say, this game is really lenient with inputs. As a matter of fact, I can do the full parry by doing a merengue beat.
No!
Why is it that lenient? I can't help but imagine a boardroom meeting where they thought, if we make it easy, then anyone could be the next Diego.
Yeah, that'll get him on my side.
But this trend of easier games is not without its reasons. Competitive games are harder to get into because you can learn a game for hours and still know nothing about it. Gamers are older now with real jobs and real responsibilities.
I was playing a lot of Guilty Gear, and I didn't even I hopped in a few rank matches, obviously on stream, and I still kept getting destroyed. And I was like, oh, how do you do combos? So I went to the training part of the game, and I was like, okay, I'll try and make up my own combo and see how I can, get this character to work. But like every single time that I tried to like fight against this like unmoving force of energy, I guess, they just literally just didn't stop. I never could get a combo. I can only go up to like two hits for like a combo, but never anything above that. It's super hard, especially when you're pressing buttons that will do this thing. You can like do fast moves and whatnot, and then just out of nowhere, you'll get this one animation that just kind of like you kick or something like that, and then it's like a long wind up to get, back to it and whatnot. And I'm just like, wow, that ended my combo. So I don't know how to do combos, so that I'll have to learn how to do that.
After a bad day at work, the last thing you want to do is work for your entertainment. But for competitive folk, that extra work is the entertainment, also known as the journey. This creates an extremely wide spectrum of skill levels.
No, you're cheating.
You're gonna learn!
And depending on the game design, the skill gap will more or less reward those who have put more hours into the game or the game's predecessors. This has put game companies like Capcom, who have built loyal competitive fan bases, in a tough position.
I really want Street Fighter.
Newcomers by lowering the skill gap, or be faithful to the smaller but more passionate competitive base by rewarding legacy skill and dedication.
Let me check something really quick. I heard... Are they still doing that? Let's see here. Oh, what? Oh, it's mixed. What's going on with Sandbox? Quick crash on Sandbox in the last few years. Oh. Okay, well, where's my game that I wanted to get? Is it still on deal? Did I miss the deal? Oh, thank goodness. They're still 50% off. I can still wish I had those games. Very nice.
On top of this, you now have to entertain the spectators who might not even play the game, but then do it in a way that makes sponsors happy. RCappa might like Mika's default
That's
costume,
a crazy
not losing their
costume.
sponsors. By attempting to satisfy so many different groups, the game itself starts to get shaped by people who don't care about the game other than its potential return on investment, or people who think running out the clock with a life lead makes you a douchebag. There's nothing new about broadening the appeal of a game, but now it's gotten to the point where
I remember playing the beta of that game.
Literally calling the developers of the game retarded.
The guy who created the Boxer, or the concept of the Boxer, is retarded. That's what he say. So he can totally understand that, their intention, Capcom's intention, but he cannot like accept their way. For him, like it's like elementary school students creating the patch.
What's going on here?
Gerald, what's happening?
What's going on?
To get to the root of the issue, let's start with the party game. Drinking games like beer pong can be explained in a few minutes, and it's not uncommon for people playing for the first time to win. Party games like these are characterized by easy-to-learn rules, no training requirement, and low stakes. In other words, less effort required. This is why one of the worst things you can say about a competitive game is that it resembles a party game in some way.
I stream Smash 4 when I want to have fun.
Wow. More gauntlets there.
Of course, Melee players have also heard their game referred to as a party game. And this is because the game was originally designed as one, according to its creator Masahiro Sakurai, but the community made it competitive by creating rules such as no items and banning certain stages in order to
play that
remove
on stream.
An outcome, also known as luck,
I feel like that would be a good game.
Creator Richard Garfield. It's hard to see who the better player is when everyone keeps getting killed by random NPCs or random items. But luck is actually great for party games because they protect egos. Players can attribute their wins to skill, but blame chance on their losses. No need to accept that you suck, so everyone is happy. until they get bored and make the game more interesting by raising the stakes. When money, pride, or even just beers are on the line, rules are likely to be changed or added to reduce luck. Suddenly the ball has to be a certain size, and randomizers like dice get thrown out. Even chess, which is regarded as the ultimate example of skill-based gaming, used to be played with dice in one of its earliest forms known as Chaturaji. In earlier Street Fighter games, the amount of stun your attacks did was random within a certain range, and sometimes you'd get dizzy in a very few hits. In later games, however, attacks do a fixed amount of stun, reducing the luck factor. Competitive players generally accept these kinds of changes. But what happens when you take a matured competitive franchise and add uncertainty in outcome?
It's very difficult to add luck to an existing game, and that's because the existing audience likes the way they're rewarded, right? The good players are getting a lot of accolades, and adding luck is going to reduce them.
When you lower the skill gap, the better player is simply going to lose more often, and games like Street Fighter V were made with this in mind. This isn't just a conspiracy theory, because Capcom never kept it a secret.
The idea that Lupe Fiasco won, and he beat Daigo, what do you think a moment like that means to a larger audience outside of the FGC, if at all?
I think it just speaks to
let's zoom in.
The
That is not
accessibility
zooming
of
in.
Street Fighter V. You know, I mean, it just shows that.
I'm hoping
anyone
this is
could
showing
really
up.
become a champion in this game
Okay,
if they
cool.
try.
Yes, it is. That's good. What in the world? That is
So what did
such
they
an
do
old...
to the game to achieve this? How did the sausage of Street Fighter V get made?
Whoever had the idea to design this game, okay, to be shitty like this, was like, okay, well, we have to create a Street Fighter because we're
This is an
gonna promote
old
it on esports, but we have to create a game that would close in the gap versus the guys who's been playing Street Fighter for 10 to 20 years versus somebody who just picked up a controller.
These changes cause more upsets and unpredictable matches, which might be exciting for spectators and newcomers, but gives near heart attacks to even the most consistent pros.
Taking Fudo to the last round.
Very Wow.
impressive.
Definitely give some heart attack.
But a game designed to cater towards newcomers and spectators comes with a price. With Street Fighter V's simpler and more
That's gonna
lenient
be
combo
me one
execution,
day.
intermediate players are now able to perform any combo with little to no effort, even
One
the
day.
deadliest ones. This lowers combo variety and ultimately hurts the ability of the players to express themselves.
Even I was trying to play like a really special, or try to have like my signature technique with my character. This is not going to happen in this game.
Okay.
Because all the combo, anyone can do it.
Saddest of all, the skills of combo masters like Sakonoko are trivialized because anyone can do the same combos that he does. In addition to max damage combos being easier, the game unapologetically made defensive options terrible, and they're getting worse.
You're trying to prevent something from happening,
I know that guy.
but you're so limited in defensive options.
I definitely feel like there needs to be some kind of defensive option in the game.
I obviously like season 1 more because there was a little bit more defensive options.
Okay.
So season 2 is obviously more towards aggression and just more excitement for people to watch.
The end result is volatility.
You see all these comeback videos every single day, where that's the norm.
Comebacks don't matter
Anymore.
They're not impressive anymore.
No.
A comeback is likely.
There's a guy in the
I
corner.
get that
I
defensive
don't know if
play
I'm
is
blocking
bad
him.
for spectators, but even Guilty Gear Xrd,
Oh,
a
there
game
it
that
is.
actually empties your resources
Oh, wait,
for
that's
playing
a
too
different game.
defensively,
I don't
has
have
rich
that game.
defensive options like faultless defense that rewards good resource management, and instant block which rewards precise timing. Alongside volatile gameplay, the drastic balance changes have put pro players in a guessing game called Who Does Capcom Like?
They didn't really want the game to be balanced, I don't think. I think they just wanted to shuffle who you see on screen and make it exciting.
But on top of everything, Street Fighter V also has the high input lag, which I've already made a whole video about, and while they've shaved off about a frame and a half of lag since then, it's still double that of indie titles like Skullgirls. As a matter of fact, Skullgirls creator Mike Z added a mode that increases the input lag to simulate Street Fighter V. You can activate it by adding the command line Ascend Higher in the launch options. While this burn is indeed sick, the message is real. Input lag decreases your control over your character and necessarily rewards prediction over reactions, which creates more uncertainty in outcome.
You have to play with the you have to play with the lag.
You do, right.
Because if you let it dictate too much of your gameplay, like if you're trying to react with punish stuff too much, you're gonna get screwed.
But you might be thinking, if Street Fighter V is so random, then why do we still see players who do well consistently?
Wow, so this is like fighting games are the only game genre, I guess, that have people like Yeah, no, we want leg.
For the same reason why we see consistency in professional poker.
That's crazy.
Players like Daniel Negreanu have won 6 World Series of poker bracelets and over $30 million in prize money despite playing a game that's literally gambling. Richard Garfield points out that luck and skill are not mutually
I wonder, do they still have that category? Is poker still a category on Twitch?
Exclusive,
I have no idea.
Which means games can require high luck and high skill, low luck and high skill, high luck and low skill, and low luck and low skill. The ones who like high-level competitive play want Street Fighter to go this way, but the ones who want upsets and blow-ups want it to go this way. When it goes too far in one direction, it won't feel like the same franchise anymore.
Oh, this Street Fighter is totally not a Street Fighter game. This is like Marvel with lag.
But fans of the series will dispute what makes a real Street Fighter
game
they don't
because
want
people
lag.
have different
I see. Tastes. Is it about footsies, zoning, execution, tech, reads? There's no definite answer because there's no official Street Fighter constitution that defines the franchise in terms of gameplay. This is why Moment 37, and others like it, is so important to the fighting game community. Moments like these act as articles to an unwritten constitution that define what makes a franchise meaningful to us. The excitement you hear in this video isn't just because there was a comeback. It's because the comeback looked impossible. Making it easy so anyone could be the next Diego profoundly misunderstands what makes Street Fighter
beautiful
exciting
sound.
And makes the players profoundly sad.
Profound sadness.
I'm surprised the mic
and this
didn't even
isn't just
keep.
Street Fighter. We also saw this when Metal Gear cynically turned into a survival horror game, and when Call of Duty went sci-fi.
Yeah, no, I don't know about Metal Gear Survive. I played it, and there are people that had fun with it. You know, I can't say anything about it. I never played a Metal Gear game in my life, so I can't talk about that game. You know what? Let's just drop it completely.
These could all be great games if they were made for a different
Forget
franchise.
I even said anything.
Followers of this channel know I loved Rising Thunder, but I would never want one-button Shoryukens in Street Fighter. Competitive games are becoming lifestyle games with many years of support. We spend so much of our lives playing, watching, streaming, and traveling to tournaments, which is why communication from the developers is more important than ever before.
I really don't think Capcom is going to change anything. They do what they feel is right for a game. What they feel is right for a game. It's their game, obviously.
Yeah.
If you're a competitive player, you just have to accept it, I guess.
This makes me wonder, why can't companies work with the players to make the game that suits their communities if they're in it for the long haul? And I don't just mean some out-of-touch ideas of what you think they might like. I mean actually listening to what the most invested players want and making a game they'll be excited to share with everyone around them. Maybe this sounds naive or like a road to financial disaster, but one developer who was instrumental in reviving the fighting game genre doesn't think so.
In my view, the most exciting new development doesn't really come from a technology. It comes from a shift in the way we think about the games themselves. It's a new way of looking at the passion that players bring to the game and the efforts to align your interests as a developer as closely as possible with your players and basically to understand you're in it together.
The key to his model is
I wonder if Street Fighter 6 still deals with input lag. I really want to play that game. Pretty soon I'm going to have every type of fighting game that we can play.
This.
But that's another video.
But what does that mean?
The history of
that I'm
esports,
about
in
to
my view,
watch.
is the history of players trying to escape the gravity of a constantly changing landscape and attain a stable competitive orbit. To find regularity that rewards our skills and the financial backing to produce a stable world of competition.
While I like the sound of that, is a stable competitive orbit something spectators want to see?
Do they want to see upsets or do they want to see like who's the best?
They don't care.
Oh.
Because here's the thing.
They don't care.
Who's the best?
No, because they're finicky. They don't. One day Daigo could beat everyone. Oh my God, Daigo's the best.
Yeah.
The next week he loses. He gets like 9th or something. Daigo sucks. Daigo's washed up. Instantly, Daigo's washed up.
Yeah.
People don't care about who's the best anymore. They just want something to talk shit about.
Maybe Flo is right. Maybe people don't care about who the better player is, but care more about the spectacle. If true, the model might look like this. But notice how the focus
Oh, wow.
on player and competition is gone, and how player passion is replaced by sponsor interest. Why? Because I imagine
All the
players would have a hard
sponsors.
time being passionate about being made a spectacle. Just a guess. I'm not going to pretend to know which model would be most financially successful, but is it that not worth it to make a game enjoyable for its most dedicated players? Let me know in the comments what competitive games you play, and what you think about the direction they're taking it. This was Gerald from Korea Gaming.
Wow,
Thanks
that was
for watching, and
I can't believe I watched that. What's wrong with me? No, I'm kidding. I had another video that I wanted to check out. What was it called? Hold up a second. Just in case. Just in case. Oh, there it is. It's it's in my search history. There we go. Cool. Okay, so that was actually the wrong video. I watched a different video. This was the video that I wanted to watch. I don't remember anything. Okay, let's
when Riot
zoom in.
revealed the gameplay trailer for its upcoming fighting
That's
game
the wrong one.
2XKO,
Okay,
a
cool.
user on Reddit described the game as a Tekken-like, which caused the collective face-palming of fighting game fans.
Yeah,
It was
no,
like
you
someone
don't
saw these
call
spring
you don't
rolls
call
and
it a
called them
Tekken-like.
burritos.
Burritos? Well, they're spring rolls.
Tekken and 2XKO are obviously different to fighting game players, but it's not surprising how these games could seem similar to the layperson. Look at how many have a character select screen, a
Oh,
side
wow.
view angle of both players facing each other.
Mortal Kombat used to terrify me as a kid. I was scared of that game for some reason. One specific thing that like really scared me was when you kicked a character off like the map or something like that, and then they land into like spikes. That always scared me as a kid. But nowadays I'm a changed person.
And life bars depleting towards the center until someone is KO'd. Win enough rounds and win the match. How can these games be all that different if so many share these fundamental characteristics? But the same can be said about a genre of music like rock.
Wait
Oh, yeah.
a minute, this sounds like rock and or roll.
And
Rock
or
music
roll.
mostly has some combination of electric guitars, bass, drum kits, and around 3 to 5 members, but everyone knows punk rock is not the same as blues rock, which is not the same as technical death metal. There are so many different types
Yeah,
of rock
no.
music now, but if you go back in time, you can
100%.
trace its roots down to the father of rock and roll, Chuck Berry.
If you were to try and give rock
Ah.
and roll another name, you might call it Chuck Berry.
Oh God! Ah.
Many artists contributed to the birth of rock, but Chuck Berry is described as the one who came closest to putting all the essential
Oh, wow.
pieces together, thus forming an archetype.
Yes.
So too with fighting games, if you go back far enough, you can find its archetype, Street Fighter II: The World Warrior in 1991. Yes, it was inspired by
Ken and
many
Ryu.
iconic fighting games before it, but they also served as prototypes that laid the groundwork for what Street Fighter II would become. Karate Champ in 1984 brought forward the 1v1 side view martial arts game, but its clunky double joystick gameplay did not hold up over time. ER Kung Fu had health bars and multiple characters, but it was sadly single player only, and even with all the lasting innovations Street Fighter 1 had, it still did
Wow.
not let you select a character. These games were popular and sold well, but none would get close to the impact and success of Street Fighter 2, which would go on to sell over 22 million copies across platforms.
Okay, so here's the thing. How did Capcom immediately like monopolize on fighting games immediately after their first fighting game? It's like, oh yeah, you just have two characters. And you know, like, how did they discover
It just had the right combination of design
the
and
the exact like gameplay loop that they
gameplay
needed?
that became the basis for so many fighting games going forward, including major
If
titles
fighting
being
games were that bare bones back then.
gameplay that became the basis for so many fighting games going forward, including major titles being made
like,
today.
It's like someone
So
went
what
back
exactly
in time
are
or
these
something.
design and gameplay elements that made
What
Street
in the
Fighter II
world?
so successful that it transformed the arcade culture from one of getting personal high scores into one of beating a human opponent?
You win.
Well, for starters, obviously a versus mode. Having the objective be to mess
Oh,
up another human
I see.
player
Well,
is
never
what
mind.
largely distinguished the fighting game
I'm
genre
wrong.
from the single-player and co-op beat-em-up genres. It's why people were confused when Sifu got nominated for Best Fighting Game at the Game Awards.
Hey, what's that doing there?
Excuse me?
If there were a classification tree for fighting,
That scared me so bad. Okay. Unplugging. The way Alexa just randomly activated made my heart drop so badly. That was so loud. Okay. Okay. We continue.
fighting games post
We
Street
continue
Fighter
the
2,
video.
the fundamental characteristic at the top should be a versus mode. From here, we branch off into two categories, archetypal and hybrid, or if you prefer, traditional and non-traditional, or, I don't know, classic
yeah.
and modern. Like many games before it, Street Fighter II was a 2D fighting game with a side perspective where both characters are always facing each other.
Yeah.
This means that the character movement is described as
Yeah, I
moving
know
backwards
this.
and forwards as opposed to merely left and right. Because it's a 2D game, you cannot evade attacks by moving to the third dimension any more than the original Pac-Man could jump over ghosts.
No.
This is why these NPCs can be so chill when a fight is happening right in front of them. They know they'll never get hit. Modern versions of these games might have 3D models and environments, but if the gameplay still takes place in those two dimensions, you still have a 2D fighting game, though some will call them 2.5D. But while you cannot evade by moving into the third dimension, you can evade by going up really high. So characters jumped higher than their own height, making the combat look like Cirque du Soleil. Making use of the 8-way joystick of the era, up was neutral jump, up forward was forward jump, and up back was back jump. Each of the 3-way jumps are at fixed heights, trajectories, and distances per character. Hold forward to walk forward, hold back to walk backwards, and hold down to crouch. Simple enough, but the directionals also control the blocking. You hold back to block, which is the same input to walk backwards, and hold down back to crouch block. If you've noticed, all the jumping and blocking are done on the 8-way joystick. This is because the creator of Street Fighter I, Takashi Nishiyama, wanted a 6-button game in an era where 2 or 3 was the norm. He would argue that a 6-button game wouldn't be too complicated if all the buttons did the same thing, attack. Nishiyama got his way, and Street Fighter would have no jump button and no block button for over 3 decades and counting.
Oh, well, never mind, not foolish there.
Consequence of a hold back
Wait
to
a
block
second.
system decades.
How many buttons? Jab. Short. Strong. Forward. Fierce. Roundhouse. Oh, I see. These are all punch buttons and these are all kick.
Counting.
I get it.
But there was an
I get it.
unintentional consequence of a hold back to block system, which had become a major part of the archetypal 2D fighting game to this day.
The cross up.
The problem or feature of hold back to block is that the input for back changes depending on if your opponent is to your right or your left. If your opponent is to your right, you hold left to block. If they're to your left, you hold right to block. Simple enough, but which way should you hold here to block? Left or right?
I practiced so much on the player 1 side, only to figure out that there was a player 2 side, and then I immediately lost I forgot everything that I learned about what I was playing. I didn't know what I was doing afterwards.
It's hard to know which direction is back.
I was like, man, I'm so proud of myself for getting this all right and learning how to do like a, I don't know, a 3-piece combo, I guess. And then I switched to the other side, and suddenly I'm like, oh, wait a second, I don't remember. I don't remember what I was doing. So I definitely have to keep learning.
If you don't know if your opponent will be to your right or your left. In this case, you must hold right.
What a hard game,
though. The
though.
opponent ends up to your left when the attack connects. Tricky, but that's what makes it so good. An attack that suddenly requires you to switch blocking direction to defend is called a cross-up.
So the first guy I ever saw do cross-ups, his name was Tony Tsui. I was doing cross-ups myself, but didn't even know I was doing it. I just do that for whatever reason. If I jumped into somebody really deep, all of a sudden the guy couldn't block it.
A big part of fighting games is to make your opponent defend incorrectly by mixing them up, which is unsurprisingly called a mix-up, but more specifically in this case, a left-right mix-up.
I always want to see this stuff on ESPN. Let's get rid of the spelling bee already. I don't care about kids memorizing words out of a dictionary. There's no recess.
Blanca is my least favorite character.
Cross-ups and spelling?
But it's hard to cross someone up when they're a moving target.
I don't know why.
Luckily, Street Fighter II also introduced knockdowns, which rendered a player immobile but invulnerable until they got up again. With the opponent on the ground, you can get in position to plan your mix-up. If it hits like this, there's a small window where you can score another free hit afterwards before the game will let your opponent block. This glitch is what we now know as a combo. From here, you can do a special attack before your attack animation finishes and get a third free hit. Game is starting to look busted now. Look at this janky animation transition. Starting another move before the previous one finishes its animation is called canceling, a staple feature of the 2D fighting game archetype and extremely impossible in canceling. Starting another move before the previous one finishes its animation is called canceling, a staple feature of
canceling?
Before the previous one finishes its animation is called canceling, a staple feature of the 2D fighting game archetype and extremely.
How do you cancel? Hold up. Wait a second. I'm learning something I wouldn't have learned at all. How do you cancel? You know what, I'll leave this up. I can just do this. Fighting games. How to cancel. Canceling.
Hello, welcome to Fighting Game Basics. This is going to be a series of short, easy to reference videos, just covering the fundamental concepts of fighting games for brand new players. So, we're going to start with canceling, and we'll start with what is a cancel.
Let's see, what's a cancel?
We're going to look at the animation for reuse crouching medium kick. Keep an eye on his foot as it goes through the whole animation.
Yeah, it's long.
Okay, so now we know what that looks like. Let's look at the difference when we cancel it with a special. Watch his foot one more time.
With a special?
Alright, so you can see part of that animation is missing now. That's because the animation for the special cancels the ending of the animation for the normal. That's where cancel comes from. So now if you look at the input display on the left hand side, you'll see the timing for this.
You can't see the video I'm watching, but there's like a bunch of arrows on the left side.
You see how there's no delay, no pause, no gap between the two inputs. I'm going straight from the normal immediately into the special.
Wow.
Now, you don't have to be quite that fast. You have a little bit of room to play around with. But the important concept is that when you're canceling into a special, you pretty much cannot be too fast. As long as you get a clean input, you're good to go. The next important thing is that the down for my crouching medium kick.
Okay, I'm gonna be here forever. But anyway, I need to learn how to fight in fighting games.
Possible in
Let's
real
finish
life.
this one.
Street Fighter II lead designer Akira Nishitani said, "We thought this was quite interesting and it didn't seem to cause any bugs, so we decided it could be a feature to expand the gameplay." So, another genre-defining accident. This whole glitch-filled attack sequence where you planned your left-right mix-up feels like you were setting your opponent up, which is exactly why they're called setups. But the left-right mix-up would not have worked if the game did not have hold back the block, and use the block button instead. This is what Mortal Kombat did in 1992.
Who was the first one to... Did I miss it? Did I miss it in this video? Who was the first one to discover combos?
Instead of a direction, there is no left or right blocking to worry about, meaning no left-right mix-up game to be had. Whether Scorpion throws his spear or does his side-switching teleport punch, the answer is the same: block button. This would actually be a nightmare to deal with if you had to hold back to block, because you'd have to walk backwards to block spear and forwards to block teleport punch. But funny enough, this nightmare came true when Scorpion became a guest character in Injustice, NetherRealm Studios' first hold back to block fighting game.
How can you say that this move has been toned down? Look at it, it's ridiculous. Breaks the rules of the game.
This became a great example of a guest character bringing over their abilities.
I understand.
NetherRealm Studios'
I understand having, like, I don't know, Scorpion as a guest character, and you know it's fun and stuff like that. Why didn't they nerf him? Or I don't know, why didn't... Because obviously they went into this game knowing that this was going to be a back-to-block game. Why didn't they nerf Scorpion? Why did they... He is an invasive species. He's an invasive species in a game that was not made for him.
Say that this move has been toned down. Look at it, it's ridiculous. Breaks the rules of the game.
This became a great example of a guest character bringing over their abilities into a host world only to harass its people with never-before-seen technology. Basically, what I call the Predator
I feel so
effect.
bad for those
Calls
guys.
for tournament bans and nerfs would reach game director Ed Boon on social media,
What in
where
the
he
world?
acknowledged the issue and promised changes. A glance at the 15-page thread on the Mortal Kombat forum testyourmight.com shows how divided people were when they found out Injustice would be a hold-back-to-block game. Mortal Kombat is unique for being a major OG 2D fighting game that is not hold back to block. Its rock music equivalent would be Elvis, a major OG rock artist who stood out from the others by doing his own thing and taking the performative aspects to the next level.
Highs and lows.
But even
Chapter
without a
5.
left-right mix-up game, you can still have the high-low mix-up game. The question of whether you should stand block or crouch block, also known as blocking high or low. The rule established by Street Fighter II was that blocking high will defend against high attacks and jumping attacks, but lose to low attacks, which makes intuitive sense, look how vulnerable those ankles are, and blocking low will defend against both low attacks and high attacks, but will lose to jumping attacks. Not
makes
as
sense.
intuitive, but that's the rule still used today. But high-low mix-ups in Street Fighter II weren't so scary because crouch block covered all attacks on the ground, and jumping attacks were easy to react to with stand block because everyone jumped so damn high. But there was a downside of crouch blocking, which was that you couldn't move. So a spacing game was played where you try to tag your walking opponent with a quick and long low attack while avoiding or blocking theirs. One of the earliest examples of footsies, the strategic combat focused on movement and attack ranges.
Nice.
But even still, crouch blocking was really effective, so they had to add a couple things that could beat blocking, namely throws and chip damage from blocked special attacks. But as you can see, Street Fighter had a this beats that, but that beats this kind of rock, paper, scissors gameplay, but with every choice contingent on timing and spacing.
Tomo taught me a method called the TDR. Timing, distance, and reactions.
But a way to bypass this spacing game on the ground is to do a jumping attack. But the downside is that you cannot block in the air, making it risky. A big part of the game was to make people impatiently jump at you so you can strike them out of the air, also known as an anti-air.
What an anti-air!
This is how the game of fireballs and uppercuts became central to its gameplay. Street Fighter II's combat schematic became the foundation of the 2D fighting game and has been used in countless titles. But like with anything, the archetype would evolve, and in the early days, much of it was thanks to SNK, who poached the makers of Street Fighter I, Takashi Nishiyama and Hiroshi Matsumoto.
What does SNK stand for?
While Capcom focused on refining Street Fighter II gameplay with all its bazillion updates, SNK was working on new fighting game franchises and innovating like crazy. Matsumoto's Art of Fighting in 1992 would introduce meter, super moves, taunting, and dashing where you tap forward or back twice for quick bursts of movement. Street Fighter would add all these mechanics to its core gameplay much later. In '93, weapon-based fighting game Samurai Showdown introduced running. Tap forward twice and hold, something Mortal Kombat would again add a button for. Backdash and run would become standard in many fighting
SNK,
games.
stop innovating. You're changing their game. Stop it.
But not all innovations stuck around. Nishiyama's Fatal Fury was the most experimental at the time, with its kind of 3D two-lane battle system, hold down forward to crouch walk, and a 2v1 co-op mode that made the good guys look like bullies.
Oh god.
Nevertheless, with so many fighting game characters under their belt,
Just beat up
SNK
her
made a
dad right in
crossover
front of
game
her.
called The King of Fighters 94. This introduced the team battle system where each player picks a team of 3 characters and the order in which they appear. When a character's life bar picks the king of 3 characters and the order in this introduced the team battle system
Canada?
where each player picks a team of 3 characters and the order in which they appear.
I'm sad.
When a character's life bar is depleted, the next character on the team takes over. The player who can eliminate all 3 of their opponent's
very
characters
sad.
wins the game. As their new flagship fighting game, SNK would continue to add features in each iteration.
King of
KOF
Fighters
94 introduced
1994.
spot dodging, a way to dodge in place for a moment to avoid attacks, a kind of a pseudo-dodge into the third dimension. In KOF 95, they
I seen people dodge me in Guilty Gear. How do you dodge unless you just block? How do you dodge?
experimented with the option to do a longer 3-way jump, and Fatal Fury 3
I don't
experimented
know how to
with the
dodge.
short hop.
in
By
that.
KOF 96, you could do a running short hop called a hyper hop, which allowed for some sneaky high-low left-right mix-ups. Combine this with rolling, an evasion mechanic that goes through fireballs and people, and you've essentially got the control scheme for what we know as King of Fighters gameplay. Tons of
Oh, that's
new
not
movement
Leon.
and jumping options added to the 2D archetype.
I think what makes KOF unique in the current era of fighting games is that its movement options are kind of like a happy medium between what you would find in old Street Fighter and also in anime air dashes and whatnot. Like, there's a run option, which increases the speed of regular interactions, several different kinds of jumps that all have strengths and weaknesses, and classically also just really good buttons.
Wow.
In contrast, modern Street Fighter at the core still uses controls from Street Fighter 2, but with forward and backdashing added from 3 onwards. Yes, Street Fighter games have had mechanics like long jump, parries, custom combos, and focus attack, but these act more like guest mechanics that change from game to game, which is why each Street Fighter iteration is so different yet so familiar at the same time. But the thing that binds Street Fighter, KOF, and other SNK games together is the rule that you cannot block in the air. This keeps players closer to the ground, which is why there should be a subcategory for grounded fighting games. A great
Grounded.
example of a grounded fighting game is Capcom vs. SNK 2, which lets you choose which mechanics you want your character to have through its groove system.
It merges and compresses basically a
Oh.
decade of fighting game history into one game and tries to create all these different mechanics or permutations of mechanics from each game's original series to make those characters feel like they could be at home. You can play with SNK style systems like with a spot dodge or with rolling with short hop. You can play with charge style meter or the stock style meter. You get a rage gauge and K group that's kind of like Sam
His voice
shows,
cracked.
but with just defend that makes
He's
it
so
feel
excited.
a little bit like Garo Mark of the Wolves. But you can also play Capcom characters in those SNK systems, and you can kind of mix and match to really get something that feels like it's what you want.
Patrick, #1 USA player.
My voice
at this
also
moment.
cracks when I'm very excited. How to become anime.
After Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo was released in 1994, Capcom finally started to flex their own innovations with Darkstalkers, their first post-Street Fighter 2 fighting game. It would introduce a third type of blocking, hold back to block in the air. But there was a caveat. Air blocking could only block jumping attacks, not attacks from the ground, which includes uppercuts. This kind of partial air blocking was found in Street Fighter Alpha, and more recently, the Granblue Versus series. In terms of offense, Darkstalkers implemented a primitive form of chain combos, where a loosely dialed-in series of buttons would magically do a combo, a departure from the stricter link-based combo timings of Street Fighter and KOF-like games. It was around this time when combos were being recognized by both the players and the developers, and Combo Mania had hit a peak with the release
Wow.
of Killer Instinct, a game with a
100
unique combo
combos
system that allowed you
each.
to do some that exceeded 10, 20, or even 30 hits during a match. But with great combos comes great one-sided gameplay, So they also incorporated a way to stop your
Oh, they
opponent's
went
combo
3D.
in the middle of it, the combo breaker. But preferences for a combo breaker system can vary,
What an
and
iconic
typically
sound.
SNK and Capcom fighting games tend not to have them. But while Capcom says no to combo breakers, they were completely okay with adding dashing. Darkstalkers was the first Capcom
In the
game
world.
to add dashing for the entire cast. But these were no ordinary dashes, and they varied from character to character. Some would hop, slide, or even fly like Morrigan. But Lord Raptor would go one step further and break the laws of physics by performing the first dash in the air. We'd also see cartoon physics in World Heroes, where the two ninjas performed the first fighting game Double Jump in 1992.
Oh wow, it's so
But how
flashy.
absurd would it be if everyone could air dash and double jump? What if everyone could also do chain combos?
Atlas.
What if people could block anything in the air without caveats?
Team
It
Neo
wouldn't
Blood.
be absurd, it would just be anime.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there's my game.
Guilty Gear in 1998 would have
There's
air
the
dash,
only
double
fighting
jumps,
game I
and true
own.
air block.
Sorry, I gotta stop
Guilty
talking.
Gear in 1998 would have air dash, double jumps, and true air blocking for everyone, opening up way more interactions in the air and truly distinguishing itself from its grounded counterparts. This new type of 2D hold back to block game was called anime, or sometimes air dasher. As a side note, the anime fighting game type mostly refers to the
Oh,
gameplay,
it's so
not
fun
just the
looking.
aesthetics. Some anime-looking games are known to have more grounded gameplay. I'm looking at you, Granblue, and DNF Duel. Anyways, in Guilty Gear X2 onwards, they added a clever combo breaker system called Burst, which became a defining mechanic of the series. It's clever because you can only do it when your gauge is full, which means there are times a player can do their combo uninterrupted, times when they can enjoy the counterplay of breaking the combo, or times when they counter the counterplay by baiting Burst and starting another combo, this time uninterrupted.
It is so insane
These
how
big brain
players can
mechanics
play
are
like that.
common in anime
How?
games, and it's where you can find the most creative and nerdiest systems akin to what you'd find in a collectible card game. In Under Night In-Birth, this grind grid gauge measures who has the most grid blocks by the time this ring-shaped meter is full, which then puts that player into a Vorpal state, which increases damage by 10% and gives them access to chain shift. Would you like to learn more? Here's 27 tutorials and a PhD when you're done. How about a game with such long, unbreakable combos that players have time to take selfies while they're getting hit? Anime games take the 2D archetype and bring it up to 11.
Wow.
Visually, mechanically, and musically. If Street Fighter II is Chuck Berry, anime games might be progressive metal.
You know, they used to tell us our songs were way too long. We used weird time signatures and there were too many guitar solos. In fact, this song is in 17/8, so try to tap your foot to it. But we just won a Grammy, so I'm glad we didn't listen.
But Capcom had been
Oh,
building
Dream
up
Theater.
their
I
own
didn't even know that
anime-like
was
game,
them.
or more precisely, a superhero comic-like game.
American anime.
Right after Darkstalkers, Capcom released X-Men Children of the Atom, which introduced their take on universal super jumps. Instead of making a longer fixed jump arc like in King of Fighters, super jumps in X-Men went really high. Like, so high they had to draw twice as much stage background vertically. They even made an indicator for the other player that was off the screen below. But it wasn't just the jump height that was unique. Super jumps also let you drift your character left and right in the air for the first time, kind of like you do in platforming.
Oh wow.
So you
Like
could also
Super
do multiple
Smash Bros.
attacks in one jump, and characters like Storm had an 8-way air dash, and Sentinel could literally fly. Combine this with the fact that you can block anything in the air, you wonder why even be on the ground. You'll just be susceptible to high-low mix-ups anyways. In the air, there is no standing or crouching state, so there are no high-low mix-ups to worry about. Holding up back to jump and air block because you're too chicken to deal with a high-low mix-up on the ground is called chicken blocking. But this made air combat so good that they also improved ground mobility with dashes that you could cancel into other commands. You could even dash and cancel into another dash, which is known as wave dashing, allowing players to move extremely quickly on the ground. But with movement, blocking, and multiple attacks all available while super jumping, you ultimately got a lot more battles in the air, like a superhero comic book. This type of fighting game alone would be enough to distinguish itself from other genres, but this series of games was just getting started.
They're just flying. Go for the air grab. They're just flying.
Wow. Assist me.
In 1996, Capcom would release X-Men vs. Street Fighter, which would become one of the first tag team fighting games, not to be confused with the
Whoa!
existing Team Battle
Flashing
system
lights.
in KOF, which only switches characters when one gets eliminated. Attack Fighter lets you switch between your selected characters with a command, and depending on the game, you can even fight simultaneously with some limitations. But what
Whoa,
really
that's
changed everything
crazy.
was
Okay.
Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which lets you call out your teammate to briefly assist you in the fight, also simply known as calling an assist. Again, SNK had a primitive version of this back in KOF 94, where you could call in a teammate only if you were stunned or in a hold. But in Marvel, you could call an assist almost any time you're able to attack,
Wow.
allowing for some oppressive offense and combos. Like, how do you block when your opponent hits you jumping while their assist hits you low at the same time? If perfectly synced, it's theoretically an unblockable. To give the defender a chance against this kind of oppressive offense, there was a mechanic that pushed your opponent away while blocking called push block. But the downside of having multiple characters on screen at once is that you can also get them all killed at once. When two characters of the same team are caught in a deadly combo,
Capcom should just make a fighting game called Capcom, and it has all the Capcom characters in it. And that's
It's
the whole
ironically
fighting game.
called a
That's
Happy Birthday.
that's my fighting game pitch.
Oh my goodness.
Happy birthday.
Oh.
ironically called when two characters of the same team are caught in a deadly combo, it's ironically
character.
called a happy birthday.
Oh my goodness.
This was Skullgirls?
Happy birthday.
That character is funny. Because you can literally play anything before doing something. But it takes a bunch of like inputs, and it takes a lot of skill to know exactly what you're playing. That guy had to learn the instrument.
And in the rare case it's 3 characters, it's called a Merry Christmas, giving new meaning to the joy of giving.
Oh my goodness, that was a Merry Christmas. Well, I ain't seen a Merry Christmas in years.
Marvel vs. Capcom 2 would establish itself
Yes.
as an archetype for 2D tag fighters, which became known as a versus game. But this tag system is also seen in games like Skullgirls, BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle, and Dragon Ball FighterZ, which are varying blends of versus and anime. If you look at the 3 subcategories of the 2D hold back to block games, you can notice there's a gradation that goes from "you sure you want to jump" all the way to "why the hell are you not jumping?" The archetypal 2D fighting game evolved to go more upwards. Makes sense because you certainly
wow.
can't go into the background.
This
But what if
editing
you
is
could?
insane. He just punched his head off. Are you
Rewind
kidding
back
me?
to 1993 and you
How?
have Virtua Fighter, the first
Oh,
3D
Virtua.
3D fighting game with actual polygons and a 3D camera. At first glance, it looks like a 2D fighting game just with 3D graphics, but this is no 2.5D game. The background is now empty because it now has become part of the playing field. In terms of fighting games and gaming in general, it was revolutionary. There's an old Game FAQs guide from 1994 that describes it best.
Take a look at this. I found this on the internet.
Different is good. With the release of their first ever fighting game, Sega has broken new ground by designing the only current martial arts game whose draw isn't violence or the ever-popular magic moves, but whose draw is realism, fluidity of motion, and genuine martial arts techniques. But this focus on realism and genuine martial arts also affected the gameplay. Walk speeds were more realistic, attacks had way more frames of animation, and high jumping became much less effective, to the point where 3D fighting games eventually phased them out. This basically eliminated the left-right mix-up game, and like Mortal Kombat, 3D fighting games focused on the high-low mix-up.
There it is! Arslan Ash is your Tekken 7 champion!
The high-low blocking rules are similar
What was
to
another
2D
game
games, except that highs are now
that I had
always
in my...
duckable.
Let's see. Do I have every type of game? Let me check one more time. Bear with me. Never mind. No. Okay.
And jumping attacks are now called mids.
Oh no.
They changed the name
Wrong
because
thing.
in 3D games, most attacks that beat crouch blocking could now be done from the ground. Moves like gut punches, knees, and hop kicks became typical indicators of mid attacks, and Virtua Fighter suddenly made it extremely dangerous to crouch block because you cannot react to most mid attacks like you can with Cirque du Soleil jumping attacks. In later 3D fighting games, these mids could launch you and lead to a juggle combo, easily doing 40% or more damage. Whether they knew it or not, the mid would become a game changer. Over time, more and more 2D fighting games started to have mid attacks of their own called overheads, with a visual cue of an attack hitting downwards or a hopping attack, but they generally aren't as scary as mids in 3D games. Because crouch blocking became so risky, it became overall safer to stand block, which is the opposite of 2D hold back to block games. But the high-low mix-ups get even harder to block because Virtua Fighter allowed you to press certain
nothing says
sequences of
martial
buttons
arts
which
like
would
pulling
activate a
out
flurry
a
of attacks that
9mm
could be a mix of
handgun.
high, low.
Still at work but lurking. Oh, I hope you have fun lurking. How are you doing?
And yes, mid attacks. These are called attack strings.
Thank you
and
for joining me
recognizing these patterns
on
can
stream,
help you
Yomi.
defend against them.
I appreciate
With
it.
so many strings and variations, you're bound to get hit by something. This is the high-low mix-up game of the archetypal 3D fighter, and in a way, there are a lot
to
of
be fair,
parallels to modern
these
Mortal
girls are
Kombat,
using like
which also has attack strings
daggers and
a
whatnot.
juggle-centric combo system. But Mortal Kombat is a 2D game. What was it that made Virtua Fighter play like a 3D game, not just look like it?
Well, it was the
In
3D,
2D
of
fighting
course.
games, you cannot hit a knockdown opponent by default. The attack just goes through them. This was likely preferable to being able to always hit them, which would lack any meaningful counterplay, unless you had some kind of shrimping mechanic or let everyone move like Aki. But in a 3D game like Virtua Fighter, they allow you to hit let everyone move like
Wait.
Aki. But in a 3D game like
that's
Virtua
crazy.
Fighter, they allow you to
Okay.
hit downed opponents because the counterplay is simple and elegant. Side roll into the background or foreground. This paved the way for the sophisticated get-up games 3D games are known for, and over time, 2D games started to add more get-up options to have more counterplay against setups. But the lateral movement in Virtua Fighter could only be done when knocked down, and sidestepping in a 3D game wouldn't appear until Tekken 2, but only one character had it.
Okay,
What
so
was
Tekken
that?
2 was a 3D game, obviously, but it didn't actually have 3D movement. The only person who could actually do a sidestep was Kazuya. It's called the misstep, and all you do is do forward neutral, and it like that. It'll move in and out. You can't really control the direction of it. It'll just randomly either go right or left. But he was the first one to do it.
Side dodging as a universal mechanic was introduced in Battle Arena Toshinden in 1995 with this rolling move. In
Oh, wow.
96, sidestepping appeared in Virtua Fighter 3 using a new dodge button. In 97, Tekken 3 got tap up or down to sidestep and has had it since. In 98, Soul Calibur introduced its distinctive
Hey,
eight-way
wait.
run system.
Wait. Do I have that game? I feel like I have that game. No, I don't.
Where you can move freely in 8 directions on
I'm
the
sad.
ground. Even with lateral movement,
No, I'm not. Wait a second. I didn't even check. What am I? Stupid? Am I a big dummy? Okay, well, I can't do it right now. Okay, well, you know what? Let's just watch the video.
the characters would still automatically face each other, and the camera would lock on to the side perspective, though sometimes the cameraman needed to be fired. The ability to move laterally gave players 2 new ways to avoid attacks,
Wow.
sidestep left and sidestep right. In a way, this kind of replaced the role of jumping high to avoid attacks in 2D games, which is evidenced by 3D games phasing out its moon jumping. Jumping in 3D games evolved into realistic jump heights with the purpose of going over low attacks but not mids or highs, further expanding its high-low gameplay. But in one of the most controversial examples of the Predator effect in Tekken 7, guest character Akuma uses his 2D Street Fighter jump to go over Jin's otherwise safe mid-attack and do a 95% damage combo.
We're seeing it. Look at the life bar.
That was the first time where people really started talking about Akuma before like the Pakistanis came around, you know? And I think that
This
moment
reminds me.
itself just shows
People, apparently there was a guest character in Tekken 8 which just completely broke the game and made it not fun to play. Who was it again? It was Final Fantasy, right? It was the guy who voiced Versa
Just
from Expedition
dumb
33.
it was, if we're being honest. Having access to tools like jump, which unfortunately crushes highs, mids, and lows, I think that's just not fair at all. And again, it breaks the rules, the fundamental rules of Tekken.
I'm Vincent, Super Akuma, they call me. I'll let you guess what character I play. Akuma is built around having great lows and not so good mids, right? Obviously he's got good mids, but it's the lows that are the real problem, so you have to duck more. In 2D games, most of your time blocking is crouching, and you don't need.
Which is what I don't get about Tekken, is because Super Smash Brothers does like a thing where like they do, you know, like a collaboration and whatnot, a character, and they put a character in their game and they make their moveset fit their game, right? Why can't they just, you know, collaborate in this game and make their moveset fit their game?
Get up for overheads. But
I
in
never
Tekken,
understood that. Why do they insist on keeping their moves set the same way?
Opposite, where you're standing.
They don't
where you make the read or react.
They don't see it.
You should not lose for simply holding back, and I think that's the problem with Akuma. If you just hold back, you're going to die, and there's no other character like that besides the 2Ds, of course, and that's not Tekken in my eyes.
I think he would be less hated, probably still hated, but less hated if he was just a brand new Tekken character. The fact that he's a guest, you know, people are kind of xenophobic in that way, I guess. Because right now they feel like they're justified. You know, oh, he's got nothing to do in Tekken. I mean, yeah, but it's been 6 years, get over it.
I think I've just gotten used to it at this point. I've been told many times, like,
wow,
people, oh, all you gotta do is backdash.
He's so fast.
I think that's great advice as well. I should backdash to the wall where I get killed for holding back. Great advice, guys. Thank you very much.
Oh no, Spag! What's happening? Oh my god, it's the blood! Joker!
While the 3D fighting game has become its own subgenre, it's difficult to make further subcategories because there are not nearly as many 3D games as there are 2D games.
Oh yeah.
And the major 3D franchises are distinct enough to just be their own thing. In a way, Virtua Fighter can be likened to Buddy Holly, whose everyman persona brought a realism to rock and roll, while also pioneering new recording techniques like double tracking to give a more three-dimensional sound.
5D fighting games?
By the late 90s,
what is 5D?
The market was saturated with fighting games that were based on both the 2D and 3D archetypes, so naturally there would be games that combined aspects of both.
What was that?
In 1997, Capcom released Rival Schools, which had the familiar gameplay of 2D games like high jumping, magic moves, and special attack cancels, but it also allowed you to sidestep into the background like in a 3D game. But these games were not very common, and even Fighting Layer, which started its series with this kind of gameplay, ended up shifting over to a more conventional 2.5D fighting game, though it looks like they're going back. There isn't a particular term for games that play like 2D fighting games while utilizing a 3D plane, so for now, I'll just call them 5D fighting games because 2 + 3 = 5? I don't know. Maybe it'll become a thing when Tekken Cross Street Fighter comes out.
We had Tekken Cross get out!
But there also isn't a term for a fighting game where you can jump downwards.
Was that
There's
guy not
a game called
invited?
Antinomy of Common Flowers, based on the Toho universe, that allows you to do a three-way jump upwards or downwards, with the middle of the screen being the quote-unquote
What is this?
and term for
Get out!
But there also isn't a term for a fighting game where you can jump downwards. There's a game called Antinomy of Common Flowers, based on the Toho universe, that allows you to do a three-way jump upwards or downwards, with the middle of the screen being the quote-unquote ground that somehow is the center of gravity, with the characters floating in the air. This means you can do an instant down-back jump, forward air dash cross-up. Just imagine a 5D version of this game. At the other end, there are also ultra-minimalist fighting games like Dive Kick that only uses 2 buttons and has no blocking. All these games take an assortment of aspects of all the categories to concoct something.
Dive Kick. Wow, I remember that game. What an old game. I used to watch PewDiePie play that game.
While still being based.
Or was it him? I don't remember. Wow.
On the archetype. These games are to fighting games what platypuses are to mammals, and so we have the archetypal other category. If you've made it
it's
this
the
far,
other category.
congrats. This covers all the fighting game types based on
Wow.
the archetype, but there's still
We still have to cover the hybrid side. You're telling me Okay. Alright, I'll watch a video.
another half of the fighting game tree where things get really interesting.
Modern Smash. Oh, there it is!
One day, game designer Masahiro Sakurai was at an arcade destroying someone in King of Fighters, but when he found out the players on the other side were a couple who had no idea what they were doing, he felt terrible. It inspired him to make an accessible fighting game called Super Smash Bros., released in 1999. This game was also a 2D game with a side perspective, but it deviated so much from the original fighting game archetype that people wondered if it could even be called a fighting game. The most obvious difference is the percentage system and stocks instead of life bars and rounds. The goal is to knock your opponent off the edge of the screen to eliminate their stocks, and hitting them increases their percentage, which increases how far they get knocked back. But the combat itself also takes a very different approach. Remember all that talk about cross-ups, left, right, and high-low mix-ups, scary mids, overheads, and chicken blocking?
Yes. Skip all of that. This game plays completely different.
In Smash, none of that exists because there is no auto-facing, and the game's controls are indifferent to what side you're on.
Yes, you have to push the analog stick towards the enemy in this case. Most of the time, anyway. And it helps in fighting them.
You just move left and right instead of forwards and backwards, which allows you to attack away from your opponent, which would be impossible in a 2D hold back to block game. Smash also replaced the high-low blocking game with its intuitive shielding system. Holding the shield button will activate a protective bubble that covers your entire body until it shrinks. The exposed parts of the body are then vulnerable. This is much more intuitive than explaining to someone why—
Oh, wait, what? I didn't know that.
Activate a protective bubble that covers your entire body until it shrinks. The exposed parts of the body are then vulnerable. This is much more intuitive than explaining to someone why this is a high attack. You also don't have to explain motion input than explaining to someone why this is a high attack. You also don't have to explain motion inputs because Smash did away with them in favor of a special attack button that does different things depending on what direction you're holding. If you've noticed, the way Smash works is like the many side-scrolling platformers you've played before. But also like platformers, the control you have over running and jumping is unlike anything in the archetypal games, even Marvel. In addition to double jumping, drifting, and short hopping, you can choose to fall faster by tapping down. You can also control the trajectory of your character when getting knocked around, which is known as directional influence.
Holding on, DIing in so he doesn't get pushed off.
And all this is done with a 360-degree analog stick, which is more directions than 8.
Blasting off at a protractor measured angle.
This level of control is why actions per minute enters the conversation in Smash at the highest levels, especially in Melee. It's no wonder Smash players call hold back to block games traditional. But as different as Smash is from the 2D and 3D fighting game archetypes, Smash has mechanics inspired by those games, like short hop attacks, roll, which makes you briefly invincible, and spot dodge, which are all mechanics found in King of Fighters.
The most similar game in terms of movement is probably KOF, where you have a lot of different types of hops, like you have the short hop, full jump, dash, hyper hop, and a jump in can be minus or plus depending on exactly when you time it, stuff like that.
Armada has no shield. Armada has Leffen is our EVO 2018 Super Smash Bros. Melee champion.
Oh wow, that looked so fun.
Hi, I'm Leffen. I'm a fighting game / Smash player, if you think those are different. But I'm mostly known for Smash, and more recently, through Dragon Ball and Guilty Gear Strive, I've been known more as a fighting game player as well.
This is 2 different EVO titles in 2 different fighting games, like we talk about Rarefied Air.
I think a lot of traditional fighting game players think that Smash is, has very different mechanics and stuff like that. The step from like a Street Fighter or a Guilty Gear or Tekken to Smash is probably not nearly as big as they think. They can sometimes have pretty similar decision making. A lot of the hit lag block stun, a lot of the grab versus blocking, whiff punishing, and movement and all that stuff. It really exists in Smash, it just has different forms. And I think that's the same thing for how Smash has few traditional fighting games. A lot of them were like, oh my god, you're blocking forever. Is there any real counterplay? Maybe you don't shield as much for as long sequences, but it's not that different from someone who gets edge guarded for 30 seconds and then barely makes it back. That said, though, I think it does take
guy
a
just
long
keeps
time
getting
to get
pushed
used to
off.
the other if you're used to one.
Poor guy.
Now over 2 decades old, there are many platform fighting games made by indie developers and large studios alike, and major tournaments like Genesis that specialize in these games. Without a doubt, the platform fighter deserves its own subcategory under hybrid. The rock equivalent here would be the Beastie Boys, who combined hip-hop with rock music, inspiring a new sound that would explode in the 90s to the consternation of purists.
Hybrid theory. What in the world? Remember when I almost got DMCA'd by by some Linkin Park music? Well, here we are.
Platform fighting games are a thing, but what about
More
fighting
Linkin
game
Park.
platformers? Before Smash, there was a game called Mortal Kombat Mythologies Sub-Zero, a side-scrolling platformer game that took place in the Mortal Kombat universe. It was a cool idea, but they forced the archetypal 2D fighting game controls in a side-scrolling platformer game, which ended up being a hilarious mess. They kept the 3-way jump, motion inputs, and backwards and forwards walking, but because it's a platformer, you sometimes have to walk in the other direction to get somewhere. Their solution? A turn-around button.
A turn-around button. Wow, that's awesome. That's innovative.
Off, and Mortal Kombat Mythologies became its own thing, but that's not always bad. All sorts of unlikely genres have crossover into fighting game territory with great results. Bust a Groove is a 1v1 rhythm game where you can attack your opponent and they can attempt to dodge. Puzzle games have versus modes where you can give your opponent garbage. Tennis games can have supers, and so can Pong. You can PvP in MOBA or action RPGs. And of course, there's Maiden and Spell, a 1v1 bullet hell game. These games might not have any martial arts combat, but they have other elements of the archetype that give those games their fighting gaminess, and the most fighting gamey thing of all is a 1v1 zero-sum versus mode. Because each of these hybrid games are so unique without the constellation of varieties that platform fighters have, they belong in the hybrid other category. But I argue there's also a genre crossover game where you are undeniably in a martial arts fight, more so than in any of the games I've mentioned. These games focus so much on realism, they don't play much like the archetypal fighting games at all, and have things like one-hit kills in the case of Bushido Blade, and even doctors who can stop fights in EA UFC. Yes.
Oh yeah, no, I forgot about UFC and all those other games, WWE and whatnot. Yeah, no, I forgot it. I forgot those were fighting games.
The crossover genre here is
I don't really like those games, to be honest, but that's just my
If you
opinion.
doubt there should be a distinction between a typical fighting game and a fighting
They're
simulator,
just not for me. I'm
consider
just
the
not
difference
that kind of
between
player.
Gran Turismo, a game that has turned players into actual professional race car drivers, and Mario Kart, a racing game where you can turn into a bullet. The difference is that fighting sims are not nearly as common, so off to the other category they go. But there is one more fighting game hybrid type that deserves its own subcategory: the arena fighter. One of the biggest things in common archetypal fighting games have with Smash is that these games all use a side view perspective. So what happens if you don't? In 1993, Sega released a game called Dark...
Wait a second, is, what is that game called? Dragon Ball, is it Budokai? I think it's Budokai. Is that going to be in
an
here?
early attempt at an 8-way movement 3D fighting game with 2D sprites, but the camera did not rotate with the players. This caused all sorts of problems, one of which was players' bodies obscuring the opponent. They hilariously kept hold back to block, which meant if you were in the background, you could hold up to block and do half-circle downward special moves. Good luck doing an upside-down SNK motion from each direction. The fact that you could reposition and attack upwards and downwards complete with matching sprites was novel, but the 8-way free ground movement had been around forever in the form of wrestling games and co-op
WWE, that's one of them I forgot.
Later, SNK took this control scheme, added left-right auto-facing, and made the fighting game Aggressors of Dark Combat, which even flexes its free ground movement before the fight starts. It's starting to feel like there's nothing SNK hasn't thought of. But you still can't attack upward movement before the fight starts. It's starting to feel like there's
I'm so sorry for the flashing lights, but
nothing SNK
Oh God, she's taken.
Hasn't thought of.
His heart broke. Oh wait, that was the joke.
Can't attack upwards
wow.
and downwards, so it wasn't until
am I
3D
the loser?
engines with polygons when this could be done convincingly. And so we got Air Guys, a polygonal fighting game with free ground movement.
SMH
and
my
Final Fantasy VII
head.
Characters. The camera is higher this time to prevent characters obscuring each other, and the characters can face any direction. To autoface, you must hold down the guard button, which locks onto your opponent, kind of like a 3D Zelda game. But they ambitiously kept the high-low blocking system where you could block low by either holding guard and being still, or block high by either holding guard while moving, or standing still without holding guard. Did you get all that?
Wow.
While seriously unique and sophisticated, it's hard not to feel like they shoehorned this archetypal 3D fighting game system into an arena perspective. Just imagine if Zelda had highs, lows, and mids. Like Hold Back to Block in Dark Edge, it just didn't catch on. But a year later, Capcom simplified things with the game Power Stone, which had no blocking and no locking on. But it didn't need blocking because the free ground movement with jumping gave many ways to dodge.
Wow, look at them
without
go.
auto-facing, people had to aim their attacks. These games have a sort of isometric perspective where the camera has a limited range of movement and rotation. It's like playing a fighting game.
Is Gang Beasts an arena fighting game?
In a diorama.
What's a diorama?
But arena fighters like Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm have a camera
No,
that
I'm
moves
just-
much
I'm
more
just
freely
kidding.
and
I
rotates
am- I
around
know
the
it.
arena. Players have free
a
ground
party
movement,
game.
and attacking makes you automatically face your opponent. But while a free roaming camera lets you see
There
your
it
favorite
is.
characters
Well,
in
that
all
one's
sorts of
Xenoverse.
cool angles,
Xenoverse.
it also means the whims of the cameraman will determine who will have the more favorable perspective and which direction on your controller will go forward. It seems unpredictable, but I'm sure someone out there has found the best strategies to make the camera work in their favor. But the arena fighter Dragon's can't be your favorite character.
I don't know why
in
I'm
all
not
sorts of
listening,
cool
but
angles. It also means the whims of the cameraman will determine who will have the more favorable perspective and which direction on your controller will go forward. It seems unpredictable, but I'm sure someone out there has found the best strategies to make the camera work in their favor. But the arena fighter Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi
Oh, there it
solves
is.
this issue by giving both players their own third-person
I was so
over-the-shoulder
young when I played this.
perspective. But of course, this requires both players to have their own screens or play split screen. But we've now come a long way from the original archetype
Oh,
and
it
are
was
getting
so
into the
cool.
perspectives of other well-established genres like third-person shooters.
Bullets and missiles.
Both third-person shooters and third-person fighting games have missiles or missile-like attacks, but only the third-person shooter focuses on firearms. Firearms are antithetical to martial arts combat for
Well, that's-
obvious reasons. These weapons have practically
Middle.
unlimited reach and speed, fire instantly, and bullets are unblockable and undodgeable unless you're in the Matrix. Firearms make distance and speed irrelevant, so much so that pistols in shooting games often function more like barcode scanners than actual guns firing bullets.
Oh, they're so good.
This is called hit scan, and you can see this in action if you go frame by frame on a Valorant match. The kill indicator appears the moment the player clicks the mouse, even before the animation of the enemy getting shot. Firearms work in tactical shooters because aiming is a fundamental skill in them.
What in the
But
world?
in fighting games, aim has never been the dominant skill because these games already do most of the aiming for you. Third-person fighting games like Gundam Versus and For Honor have lock-on systems, and in the third-person fighting games like Gundam...
Wow. Any mecha game always is just such a banger every single time.
Gundam Versus and For Honor have lock-on systems, and in the case of ARMS, the players are always facing
it's this
each
game.
other. And if you think about it, fighting games taking place in 2 dimensions is a form of auto-aim because there is no third dimension in which to miss your attacks. A fighting game where you pit 2 players in an arena with guns that automatically aim at each other would not be much of a game at all. Even beam attacks and pistols in Marvel vs. Capcom games have significant startup animations and travel time. They are not even close to instantaneous. But in the genre-to-genre case of the Predator effect, Guilty Gear Strive introduced
there it
Happy
is.
Chaos, who brought with him an actual hit-scanning pistol that fires instantly and aims automatically. Seriously. With the pistol drawn, you
That's
can
so
fire at any
broken.
range, fire while running and jumping, and even while punching and kicking.
Or in theory, it should be broken. I fought this guy before.
But the caveats are, you need concentration meter to use it, you need to reload, you cannot block with the pistol drawn while your opponent can block the bullets, and the reticule needs time to lock on. But if you hit your opponent with a water balloon, the reticule will lock on quicker until they get dry again. This was definitely a bold character design that is totally anime, but just appreciate what it took to make the gun balanced. It was controversial because you cannot react to an attack that happens instantly, keeping your distance is futile when an attack has unlimited range, and there's not much to time when the goal is to shoot first. It upsets Tomo Ohira's fighting game notion of TDR, timing, distance, and reactions.
Know what moves will counterattack from a given distance. Once you got the timing and distance down, you can concentrate
That poor soul didn't even know.
This is why fighting games tend to stick to projectiles and martial arts, and it's why so many of these games use the side perspective. It's simply the best angle to gauge the speed and range of the huge variety of moves that each character has, making it the go-to perspective of competitive play. This is not to say the perspectives used by arena fighters are not suited for competition, it's just that it makes the gameplay take a huge departure from both the archetypal games and platform fighters. Anyone who has played both side-scroller and 3D Mario games knows how different they can be. But regardless, arena fighters are fighting games, if not just for the fact that they are more that than anything else, and ultimately, they literally brought fresh new perspectives to an old genre, either by using one camera angle or by giving each player their own angle. And just like that, this completes the fighting game tree. An interesting thing to note about this tree is that Dragon Ball has a game from every category except one. But
Dragon Ball is in every category except for split/multi-screen versus. I always thought it was Capcom that was monopolizing, but maybe it's Dragon Ball. Maybe Dragon Ball is the one secretly monopolizing every category.
Just to be complete, what about the first-person fighting game? There are novelty modes.
Well, we know what else is coming out.
But just to be complete, what about the first-person fighting game? There are novelty modes in fighting games that have tried this, but you'll soon realize, one, you can't see your own character, which is sad, and moves like rolling or spinning kicks will probably just make you throw
That's
up,
terrifying.
sad, and moves like rolling or spinning kicks
Look how his head stays there.
You see your own character, which
That
is
is-
sad.
that's
and moves
terrifying.
Like rolling or spinning kicks will probably just make you throw up, unless your body can rotate without your head, like Exorcist Ryu. The closest thing is maybe Chivalry, which allows you to play in both third and first-person
He
modes.
stares you
but here's
dead
the thing.
into your soul.
There allows you to play like Exorcist. Just
Yeah, I
make
gotta
you
see
throw
that one
up,
more time.
And moves like rolling or spinning kicks will probably just make you throw up, unless your body can rotate without your head, like
No.
Exorcist Ryu. The closest thing is maybe Chivalry, which allows you to play in both third and first-person modes, but here's the thing. There is no lock-on system. So is this a first-person fighting game with swords, or a first-person shooter without guns? At this point, we're hitting the limits of what we can confidently call a fighting game, so we'll just leave this
It's
to the
Chivalry.
scientists. This might all seem like an ultra-nerdy exercise in making genre classifications for something already so niche, but it particularly matters in fighting games because the sheer number of games and game types create a diverse culture not so different from rock
wow.
music. Like a music festival, the biggest tournaments host a variety of fighting games with multiple stages, and people choose what they want to watch and play. Many people like to play multiple games, but some might only deeply care about one. Some people only like the old games of
way
the
it
series, and
flashes.
some feel the latest is greatest. There are communities within communities that have strong feelings about game mechanics, franchises, and yes, popularity. In 2002, Nickelback got rocks thrown at them for playing at a metal festival by a few audience members that did not take kindly to their type of music.
See ya! I have no idea what we were doing there, and it was just a horrible,
I still don't understand why people are mad at
horrible
Nickelback.
mistake. In their defense, if I went to a metal festival, I wouldn't want to see Nickelback either.
This isn't to say Guilty Gear fans are going to
Like,
start throwing...
I know they made like a few like cocky statements and whatnot, but that, you know, anyone can make a cocky
rocks
statement,
at
right?
Smash players, but it's good to know a little bit about the audience you're speaking to.
That was one that our manager got spanked for heavy hard. It was like, what were we doing here, dude? Why the f did you know, were we playing in Portugal with a bunch of metal bands? You know, and he's just like, sorry, I didn't know. It's like, well, you need to know.
2XKO like.
So if spring rolls are not burritos and 2XKO is not a Tekken-like, what is 2XKO actually like? There's no question it lands somewhere between the Versus and anime archetypes, which means it's an archetypal 2D hold-back-to-block game with left-right and high-low mix-ups. In addition to the standard three-way jump, each character can do a super jump like in KOF, except the game lets you slightly drift in the air like in Versus games. You can block anything in the air, and some characters have jump modifiers like Ari's air dash and Echo's forward hop. The game also allows both dashing and running, but like in Versus games, you can wave dash, making for extremely fast and expressive ground movement. But the biggest Versus element in 2XKO is that it's a tag fighter where you must select two characters. Like the title of the game suggests, the goal is to KO both characters of the opposing team. The tag system blends Versus game rules with those of Tekken tag games. Like in Versus games, your partner can be used as an assist by holding a direction and tapping the tag button, which can help you or hurt you if you get happy birthdayed. But like in Tekken tag games, switching characters does not bring them in attacking, and you can also do a tag launcher that switches characters so they can take over your combo. 2XKO also lets you switch to the character that is assisting you in what's called Handshake Tag, something we've seen in the anime fighter BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle. But if you choose the freestyle fuse, you can switch back again to the other character, allowing for some serious bullying. This allows for some oppressive high-low and left-right mix-up potential, and Sean made sure to show me by challenging me to games of Bet You Can't Block This.
Oh, you were low that time. What?
So, you gotta guess.
But there are defensive options too. When blocking, you can dash forward to do
I
a
also-
Marvel-like push block, but there's
Wow,
a new
this
mechanic where you can
2XKO
also
really
dash
has everything,
backwards
huh?
to do an escape called Retreating Guard. But this one can be beaten by lows, so don't be predictable. There's also a parry if you'd like a higher risk, higher reward option. As for combo breakers, there is a burst-like mechanic called Dynamic Save that lets you break out of combos and switch characters. And for getting knocked down, you have multiple get-up options, including an attack with brief invulnerability, but be careful as it can be punished if blocked. But the most novel feature is the duo mode, where one team can be controlled by two players, making 2v2 matches possible for a total of 4 players. We've seen Street Fighter Cross Tekken do something like this,
I have
but
to get
only
an
the point
arcade
character
stick.
could summon their partner. This led to the infamous moment.
I know an arcade stick won't make me any better at these games, but I'm willing to give it a try since my thumb always seems to burn whenever I use my controller.
During EVO 2012, when Mike Ross wasn't allowed to play for an entire round.
Wow, that's incredible! Michael Ross.
But you know, that's a skill issue on my part.
2XKO will let the player off screen play by letting them assist and dynamic save, and with handshake tag and tag launchers, there will be many more ways of switching between players. But this will also demand a new level of coordination that fighting game players have not had to do. As you can see, this is not a simple game. Anime and Versus style games
They're getting
almost never
destroyed.
are. But what it does try to do is make learning and playing it as accessible as possible. The button layout has light, medium, and heavy attacks, which can be pressed in sequence to perform a chain combo, which can be cancelled into a special attack, which is done by pressing a special attack button, just like we've seen in Smash. And yes, there are auto combos like in Dragon Ball FighterZ if you choose the Pulse Fuse, but instead of just mashing one attack button to do a combo,
kid was going
you can
insane.
mash on your own combination to do different combos. But the most accessible thing of all is that it will be free to play, making it much easier to convince your friends to get into it. And the rollback netcode will make the net play as smooth as possible. So if 2XKO were a band, I think it would be Polyphia. And not just because the character select music sounds like them, and not because both have names that are generic descriptors of their respective fields. Polyphia blends the technicality of progressive metal with the sounds of EDM, Jimi Hendrix, hip-hop, and even K-pop to make something complex yet accessible for modern times. Just like how 2XKO keeps the intricacy of anime and versus-style games while making it approachable for newcomers. Instead of abandoning what made their traditions great, they tweak or tone down just the aspects that scare people
Dream Theater's
away.
mosh pit is a bunch
What
of
is
dudes
tweaked,
helping.
Of course, never
What?
comes just the aspects that scare
There's a bunch of dudes
people
helping
away.
each other with their math homework.
What is tweaked, of
That's
course,
wholesome.
never comes without controversy. Polyphia guitarist Tim Henson got in some heat for calling a classic guitar technique a boomer bend.
It describes a very specific guitar
Aha,
bending lick commonly
nice
used in
try.
music from the 60s and 70s, the age of the baby boomer.
Unless you were trying to show me a video, I don't know. Oh, no, you weren't. No, you weren't. Thank God Nightbot took you out. Bye, loser.
And the 2XKO equivalent of this would be the removal of motion inputs, or I guess in this case, millennial inputs. But this concept goes all the way
I would have felt so bad if that was like an actual person, but
back to
it was just one of those
Thunder, which was made by
it was an
Radiant
invader in
Entertainment,
chat
who were later acquired by
trying
Riot
to
Games
solicit
to
once
make
again.
2XKO.
There's a pretty active dialogue and has been for years among fighting game players about accessibility and is it good, is it bad? And usually people talk about it as a zero-sum game, like if you're going to make the game easier, then it's going to be worse for good players. We try to think about it in terms of fun. Once you get into the fun of understanding what a fighting game really is, about the mind reading and the high-stakes sort of fast-paced poker of like,
which is
like that's a
crazy to me because fighting games are like basically the oldest kind of game that you could play, right? How in the world did they manage to stay alive this long? Because I know like rhythm games like Guitar Hero and stuff like that, they died and then they got revived again.
We want to like bring that fun to as many people as possible by removing maybe the things that
That
make
is
fighting games kind of
crazy.
scary, but aren't core to like real fighting games
Innovation
experience.
after
And another one
innovation,
is, like,
and
it's just more
they're
fun,
still
I think,
alive.
to do things with your friends. It took us a while to sort of embrace like teamwork, but once we did, and we found ways to like still have the carry aspect of like, oh, all the pressure is on me, but I can bring a friend along and we can like have teamwork moments. That's when the game started really to get fun, while still having like a real, hopefully endless mastery curve. We want this to be a game that you can play for literally thousands of hours and still discover new things.
Special thanks to Ben, Hetty, and everyone at Bay Area Riot for all your support. This was Gerald from Corey
That is
Gaming.
insane.
Thanks for watching.
What a good video. Well, we still have.
This
oh,
video-
that's a sponsor. What a good video though. This is their Nightbot. Don't take me out. This is me posting a link this time. This is that was the video. I really enjoyed that video. Don't give up on fighting games. As you can see, I have a little bit of watch time in this one. Not so
Starts
much
with-
though. I wanted to watch this one. Let's go back to the beginning. We're gonna watch one more video.
In order to
and
understand.
then we're gonna go. Oh yeah. You know what? Let's watch it first.
And the present, we must.
55. We'll watch a little bit of this video. Just a tiny bit. A little bit of this video, and then we'll play Guilty Gear.
Must understand the past, and that past starts with Street Fighter 4.
Yeah.
Or was it Super Street Fighter 4? Or was it Ultra? But whatever. In Street Fighter 4, I swore my allegiance to Cammy, as I fell in love with her the first time I ever seen her in a movie. Whether if I'm talking about this or Kylie Minogue,
There's
I'll leave
movies?
it up to you. I didn't know any combos whatsoever. Yeah, fuck.
There's movies even before the new live action movie coming out later, probably this year.
Even though I didn't have any combos, I had about 4 moves that I would keep in rotation. Cannon spikes when people would jump, spiral arrows when they would come towards me, lucky cannon strikes when I get over the occasional fireball, and supers for the occasional read. In other words, I was a filthy fucking casual. If you would ask me how I did these moves, it looked something like this. Looks the same, right? Yeah, felt the same too. All of this would change with the abrupt appearance of a fellow Cammy player. This guy had the combos, this guy baited me, and he even revoked my degree from Counter-Strike University as I had a master's in Wake Up DP. But it was only a matter of time before the most despicable, disgusting mic drop was going to happen with me as the audience. You're probably wondering, Alex, why would you do that? Cannon spike go burr.
Let's see that. And then she
As the respectable Cammy player I was, I took this loss as calmly as possible.
I haven't seen that video.
On the left, this is a regular dive kick. You see on the right, this is what this game shark using motherfucker. I said to myself, hey, if I learn how to do this move, I might become just as good as this guy. But being the pad player I was at the time proved to be too difficult due to my linguini hand dexterity. And then I would later try on a fight stick and that went,
Why would you throw
from this situation did dissipate?
There's a steep learning curve for that
would expose how limited my toolkit really was. Since I only relied on these 4 options I mentioned before, the fun turned into frustration, what led to me quitting the game altogether after the release of Super Street Fighter 4. Until the announcement of a new Street Fighter in 2016, I had bought my first arcade stick, a laptop, and a copy of Street Fighter 5 with the intentions of finally digging my teeth into a fighting game. But due to its abysmal launch, I lost faith. I know I'm not the only one when it came to the failed launch of Street Fighter 5 that the possibilities of trying other fighting games became a new avenue. To give them credit, they did clean up things, but by the time they did, I just wasn't interested anymore. The interest didn't fade because I didn't like Street Fighter anymore. It was a mere conversation with a friend about the simple days of PlayStation 2 and the fighting game that sat beside my console throughout a large chunk of its lifespan.
Namco presents Tekken.
Tekken Tag Tournament. And out of curiosity to see where the Tekken series had went, they're already on their 7th iteration, which was due to release soon or had already released. And that friend I had the initial conversation with would be the same one that would tell me to get Tekken 7. Little would I know that Tekken 7 would become my most played game of recent memory, exposing me to the world of the fighting game culture and lead to the creation of this channel. Only problem was, I had always been trash at Tekken, only laying hands on it briefly in Tekken 6, and I got bodied then, so I guess things really haven't changed much now. Instead of looking at my less than novice starting point, I took it more of a challenge to see how it was possible for me to reach a validation point in fighting games. Cause damn, the universe knew I was yearning at the opportunity, leading Tekken 7 to be that game. As Tekken is a 3D fighter allowing you to move in the foreground and the background, unlike a traditional 2D fighter, I knew the road was going to be rough, not even considering the difference in pacing and how each button pertains to a limb, unlike the usual light, medium, hard punch to prior experiences, which by the way, the buttons are referred to 1, 2,
I am so sorry
3,
to that
and
person.
4, and I assume you would know what 1 plus 2 and 3 plus 4 would mean. This is for later reference because I do mention this later in the video, and you know other games use different annotations. There's plenty of videos out there where people do the "What's up guys, it's your boy back at it again with another video." Today we're going to do our top 5 reasons and why I got better at fighting games and why my journey got the way it is and blah 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 blah, which I notice is usually pros that talk about their pleb experience to their pro experience, and I kind of want to have somebody that's more relatable, and I never saw that, so this is why I want to make this video, because I feel like there's a lot of people who struggle with fighting games and get caught in a rut and just feel like things are impossible.
You know what?
And maybe this could be relatable if you're in the thought process that's the opposite of this title of this video. And this video I reflect on my previous experiences and kind of give you guys advice and ways to step away from the mistakes I made, and that way it can make your fighting game process a little bit smoother. I also go over some key elements of fighting games, just general ways of thinking, but kind of coming from my perspective, so it's not like a full-blown definition, learn how to play you'll get it as we go through. Before I even get started, thanks to Riven Me This and Earthworm Ben in my Discord, because my PC wasn't rendering anymore. I ended up finding out it was a RAM stick that was dying and a hard drive that died, unfortunately. If it wasn't without them, I would have been pushing this video back even more. So I appreciate you guys, all the Discord homies that send me clips to use in this video. Thanks a lot, mucho appreciates. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video. I guess we should get familiar with the game that is Tekken 7.
Welcome to the revolution. Hey, come on, come on!
So loading Tekken 7 in the beginning wants something like no fucking tutorials, less interesting stages, this shit, that shit, how do I even fight stick? Okay, let's just start by looking for a new character. I mean, there's possibly nothing reminiscent of a Street Fighter character. Akuma's in this shit? Unfortunately, I knew my Dragon Punch.
Hey, wait, we just saw that guy. That was the guy that ruined the game. That was the guy that ruined Tekken, apparently.
Just in Cortisol Motions joined the cult of fuck that. So naturally, I knew this wasn't gonna happen. Since Akuma was from Street Fighter and my beginning started from Street Fighter, the want to choose him was pretty strong. Thing is, I knew merging the world of this 3D space and the lack of ability to even play on a fight stick at this point probably wasn't gonna mix well. So instead of going into the world of the unknown, I decided to go with something that felt a little familiar, that being my old flame Alyssa. Since I used to main her in Tekken 6, and I do like unique characters, which she is pretty different from the cast.
I have been programmed to destroy you.
Oh, she's a robot.
So naturally, being the new player that I was, it was time to check out the move list.
That
and,
was like Chainsaw Man. That is copyright. Ah,
hell no. So how about them sample combos? Am I right? These teach you the basic sequence of how a combo should be performed. First, you need a combo starter that will start your combo, like launchers, floor bounds that bounce you from the floor, and
the snake edge.
Oh fuck, that is a sweeping low among some others. But for this basic example, let's just start it off with a launcher. From there, you have a small combo that leads into a screw attack, or as I like to call it,
wow
state. Then you do a small string of moves or a single move that is your combo ender. Then you have something known as rage, where your health is at a certain level that opens you up to 2 special moves as well as an extra damage buff. One is a powerful combo starter or extension known as rage drive, and then you have a cinematic special move known as rage art, which is typically used as an ender. However, these options may vary between characters or how the player uses them. And Rage Arts do have a bit of invincibility. And now Rage Arts do have a bit of armor frames during their startup, which means if you hit them during their startup frames, it'll absorb the hit or a couple of hits in some cases. So beware if you're going to be attacking them during it, which totally won't come up later in the video. Congratulations, you just finished the scrub course that Tekken itself couldn't even provide. With the sample combos now being practiced, this is when all players learn the struggle of learning their first combo, especially when you start dropping it over.
What in the world?
And over, and over, and over. But when you finally land that combo online,
I said, goddamn.
Pulp Fiction.
Good shit. I doubt anybody will argue about the euphoria that comes from landing their first combo online. But you want to know what else feels good, especially online? Landing a counter hit and knowing what to do when it happens. What you doing? What you doing? You jucking, jiving? Boom, motherfucker, count. Oh, shit. Well, looking back, sometimes the simplest of teachings can create the worst habits. Since this was my initial introduction on how to deal damage without the help of the internet, that is, was my only tools to get my offense started. So if you are or were like me, you probably encountered this as well, or we've shared the same problem. I only consider the reward without considering the risk. The sample combos that caught my jab. This means anything more negative than -10, -12, -13, -14, etc. is punishable on block. If anything is less than -10, -9, -8, and then the positive frames, means it's not punishable on block, also known as being safe on block. Now, if you're the defender that's dealing with all these safe moves, ducking, dashing, sidestepping, and just movement in general is going to be at your disposal too, so don't always worry about attacking. I can't go over everything, but this is my general idea.
Alex, that's great. That's great.
Wow.
It really... Why do I give a fuck?
All right. So let's look at the combo starter I use pretty frequently, being back 3+4. All right, neutral, startup, block, and this time Fang is now positive on block, and now he is fully recovered, while Alyssa is still -17 on block. And you know what that means. You can't block during the recovery frames. As long as Fang uses a move that's faster than 17, he is guaranteed that attack. To round things out with the sense of attacking, the counter hit state is when you hit them on the startup frames, and a punish is when you hit them during the recovery frames. Or in simple terms,
oh yeah, I'm ready. I'll watch that video later. Did I already? Oh yes, I did. Okay, we're gonna try it out. We're gonna learn. Oh wait, that's not my command. There we go. There we go. Now we're ready. Oh yeah, you know what? Let's set the title too. No, my command. There we go. We're ready. Now let's take that off. And let's load up the game. So I will be right back with you. Bear with me for a moment. Alright. See you in Guilty Gear. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. Sorry, I'll be right back. I hope you didn't have to wait too long. I have the game right here. Hold up. Wait a second. There we go. There we go. Now it's popping up. There we go. And it seems everything is A-okay. I was going to hop into a rank match first, except I need to learn the controls again. So we're gonna train just for a little bit. We're gonna train on the player 2 side this time. We'll go with the Sol bad guy. Is the sound too loud? I feel like the sound's too loud. Okay, button settings, sound settings. This is fine. Okay. What was I doing again? Oh yeah. No. Oh yeah, it's all coming back to me. Okay. No, what's my special? Okay, that felt good. No! Oh, okay. No! Yes! Okay. No. Okay. No! You gotta be kidding me. No, what is it? What? Are you kidding me? Oh. No, that's not what I wanted to do. It's like something like this. No, okay, you know what? I had enough training. Let's just get into ranked right away. Let's go find someone to beat. Viken, that's my girl. Yes. Searching for an opponent. Oh, you better find them fast. Checking connection. What? Are you kidding me? Oh, standing by. Oh, never mind. Let's go this side. We'll do this side. Oh, there we go. I never accepted anything so fast before. This is not looking good. Oh. Wait, no, this is still not looking good. They could be really good at this game. Wow, they are really good at this game. They're smurfing. They're smurfing. Ah. What the? Wow. No. One more. Oh. He's so good. Okay. I will win one game at least. Wah! Oh! Help! No! No. No. What in the world? Oh, wow, this guy's too good. What was that? Okay, no. What in the world? No. Search for another opponent. Screw that guy. What in the world? That was the fastest. Okay, there we go. Oh, this is gonna be so easy. Oh, wow. I'm player one. Ah, we're so cool. Oh, yeah. Wah! Whoa. No. No. What? No! No! Oh yeah? Oh. No! What am I thinking? Oh. This is what I get for playing on a ranked match. No. 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 Oh yeah. Go ahead. No! Oh, I tried to. Oh, ow! No, what am I doing? Oh. No. Oh. Just do my combo. Oh, I can't do it. Are you kidding me? This guy beat me twice. No. This guy beat me twice. I'll do a rematch. I bet he wants a rematch too. Okay. No, he doesn't. Are you kidding me? Oh. Okay, well, how do I... Patcheon Gaming. Never will I get too cocky. He's gonna be the type to attack first. Oh yeah. Oh. Oh! How did he know? No! Oh, that's gonna be so easy. Oh. Oh. Ow! What the what? Are you kidding me? No! What? Oh, this guy. I have to play. No. Oh. No. Why can't I do it? Ow. Easy. Ah. I can't do my... There we go. Oh. No! Oh, I got too cocky. Okay. Man, I hate the D-pads. Maybe it's my controller.
Man. Duel 1. Let's rock.
Oh. What in the world? Okay. No, my D-pad. I'm not pressing up, I swear. Oh, you can never hit this. No! Oh, this guy is insane. Okay. Oh! What in the world? No! 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 Ah! Reach level 30 for one character. Thank you. Wow, that guy was good. Ah! The title was accurate. Okay. Oh, there we go. Oh, we're so ready. Swamp people. Welcome. Go easy on me. Checking the opponent's connection. Mankind knew that they could not change society.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Oh yeah? Oh. Okay. Oh. Oh yeah. Let's see. Oh, that's my first. Oh yeah? There we go. I am so sorry.
Duel 2. Let's rock.
Oh. No. No. What in the world? Ah. They're going hard. No. No! I gotta learn how to do everything faster. Are you kidding me? No. Ow. No. No. What in the world is that move? What? Are you kidding me? Oh, I don't. Well, you know what? They deserve that win because my controller sucks.
Duel 1.
It wasn't totally, it totally wasn't me who was just trash the entire time. Ow. Ow. Oh! What? Oh wow, I didn't realize how much damage they were doing to me. I gotta pay attention. Oh. Oh. No. No. Oh. I can never get my thing to go off. No! Ah. I have to learn how to do that one move. Ah, I'm getting beat every single. Well, I know what my placement is now, at least. I can't do it. Maybe I can't do it. Oh.
We've got a newcomer.
Okay. I don't know why. They're placing me up against people who never played their characters before.
Duel 1.
Oh, this guy looks like he can absolutely destroy. What? Oh. No! What? Oh! Oh God! Oh. Oh no! I don't like when it does that either. No! Okay. 100%. No! Go ahead. No! Ah. Okay, I don't know what I was doing there. I don't know what. It's like every time I jump once and then I try to dash to the right, it thinks I jumped twice. Look. Oh. Okay. Oh. No. Okay. Let me test one thing. Oh. No. No. There we go. My first round win. Wah! Come here then. Ow! No! Oh. Oh, why do I keep doing that? That's not what I wanted to do. There we go. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. Okay. That one went well. Why am I complaining so much? I never complained this much before. Let's see. I'll fail to rematch, of course. This is just the type of game I need. What? Oh, the newcomer instantly left. There we go. No. No. Oh, checking connection.
Danger.
There we go. Newcomer. Welcome. What does it say I am?
Mankind
I lost every match before fighting that one guy.
Reflecting on themselves, they blame the beasts.
Yeah.
Heaven or hell.
Oh, I haven't heard that in such a long time. It's always been skipped. What are we gonna say to each other? First, taste defeat, then we begin. Yeah, because I lost so many times. This guy is gonna destroy me. Oh. Ah. Oh. Oh. No. No. Oh. Okay, that one's a good one. Ow. Oh. Wow. Ow. No, I'm not trying to jump, I'm trying to run. No, I missed. Oh, he's gonna block it. Ah. No! Ah. We were both one hit away. That was a good match.
Man. Duel 1. Let's rock.
Oh, I knew he was gonna. No! Oh, why did I use that? No! No. 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 Oh, he's such a heavy hitter. Okay. No. No. Go ahead. That's my first win. It's gonna attack. Oh, I knew it. I knew it. What? No. Oh. No! Did you see how close we were? Oh, that was such a good one. Okay. No. I have to learn how... Okay, maybe I need a different controller. I'm gonna go try a different... I see one that has... I just gotta practice a little bit.
We've got danger.
We got danger. Thank you, game. Yes, we have danger.
Duel 1.
Okay, let's see. He's gonna attack first. Oh, too easy. Oh. Oh. No. Go ahead. Oh. How do I... There we go. That one didn't feel good because it felt like I was just mashing buttons.
Wins. Duel 2. Let's rock.
Oh. No. What? No, that's not what I wanted to do. No, stop doing that. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Are you kidding me? Well, I won. I won. I can't do that motion right. I wanted to grab him. It's the you do like the little you go backwards, and then you go down, and then you go left, and you make like this little half circle with it. That's what I wanted to do, but for some reason it just kept making me do like the down hard splash. And that, you see that? You see the way my thing...
We've got a newcomer.
Okay. Okay, enough complaining. Time to get destroyed. Okay, can I have a drink of water really quick? So cool. Oh, is it the same guy? Try learning by doing.
Viking versus Nakoriyuki. Duel 1.
He's gonna attack first, watch.
Let's rock.
Oh no. Ah. There we go. That's what I wanted to do.
Duel 2. Let's rock.
Oh. No! Wow, he... There we go. Okay. That's the first time I've ever defeated one of those kinds of players. What does best bout mean?
Duel 1.
It's gonna attack first. Oh! Ow. Oh. No. No. What? Okay. He is destroying me. Oh, I knew I shouldn't have gone for it. No. No. No, I can't get my input. No. No. Oh. Oh, he's gonna get me. There we go. That one felt good. He's gonna hit again. No! No, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay, let's just avoid this. Wah! No, I threw it. No. Okay. One more rematch is what I'm allowed. Ah. Ah. No. Why am I jumping? Ow! Ow! No, I want to run. No! No! I'm busy at the moment, but once I settle down my squad and will join your stream. I know 100% that is a bot. No. Whoa. No. Oh. Okay. Sorry, Mason times 69, but you're out of here. Boom. I heard that phrase so many times before. No one says me and my squad like the bots do. There we go. Let's keep going. Oh no, this person's gonna be so good. I am so screwed.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Oh. Whoa, that's not what I... Oh. No. Oh, they're... Okay, well, they're not that bad, but... But I have to stop jumping. Oh. No! Oh, this is not a good spot to be in. Whoa. No, that... Oh. Wow. There we go.
Duel 3. Let's rock.
No. 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 There we go. That one felt really good. That one felt really good. That was really good. Let's try again.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
No. 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 This person is panicking so much. No. Okay. Wow, that reaches so far. No! Oh, they got me. Check this out. Oh, lucky. Oh. Wow, they grabbed me! Oh yeah? Oh yeah. Wow, there we go. I'm getting used to it. Okay. Okay. I feel like that's a good part to end this one off. I'm not going to end stream. I'm not going to end stream, but I want to try something else. That was... I wanna watch another video about this. I want to learn how to play these kinds of games. That was... You know, how about we try mouse and keyboard, right? Oh god. Let's see, you. Oh. Backspace? Oh, I left the game. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. We're gonna watch another video on this. I forgot to do this. Set game. Just chatting. Set title. No! I'm doing all the wrong things. There we go. Now let's see. Getting good at fighting games is sad. Why? No, it's not, in my opinion. Yeah, maybe I got mad here and there, but hey man, I knew what I was going to get into. That's a competitive game for you. Okay, well, let me keep looking. I swear there was another video that I saw that I wanted to watch on stream. 100%. Let me see here. What is that video title? I saw something crazy. Kasane, is that how you say your name? Teto. Oh, Canada. Canadian national anthem. You can't see what I'm saying, but that's literally what the title was. That was a very cool title. Okay, so I swear I had it somewhere. Time in fighting games. No. How about we watch the process of improvement in fighting games? Should I, though? You know, I brought it up, so I might as well. Okay. I have ideas. There's that one. How not to learn fighting games. This? Okay. 2 videos.
When season 3...
We'll go How Not to Learn a Fighting Game and The Imminent Death of Tekken 8. That's the order we'll go into. Where's my... Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. We'll do that in that order. So here we go.
Trackmania, an arcade racing game that's grown into a huge success with a dedicated community over the last 2 decades. Trackmania runs on completely deterministic physics and is insanely technical
Give them
at times.
a lot of love.
But it's also incredibly simple.
Thank you.
To pick it up and play, all you need to know is 4 buttons pretty much. Accelerate, turn left or right, and brake. That's it. You don't need a tutorial to understand this, as it's simple in design. But let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
Before we get into the video, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been supporting the channel so far. There's lots of great stuff to come, and I can't wait to share it with you guys.
Yeah, you know what?
That said,
I'll
if
subscribe
you're new
right
to the
now.
channel or you just like my deep dives, I'd like to ask you to please consider subscribing and dropping a like,
Dead or Alive?
as it helps the channel so
What is this
much
game?
more than you might realize. So, with that out of the way, let's get back into it.
That?
Don't worry, yes, this is a video about combo trials and fighting games, but I think for us as fighting game players, to understand how to attract newcomers and teach them, we have to look at our games from a different perspective. Combo trials are where most people go after tutorial to try a game out. In fact, many players stay in trials mode more than training mode. They can learn simple combos and then jump right into matches online or with friends. But after researching for this video, I found that trials might actually do more harm than good. So before I get into Trackmania and all that, let's start from the beginning.
Yeah. Number one,
players,
learning
combo
styles.
Trials are an integral part of learning a game. I'm the same way. If I want to learn a character, I'll learn their combos to feel them out. After all, if you don't like a character's inputs or combo structure, there's almost
What
no
is
way
this
you'd
game?
stick with them anyways. And for
I'm
this,
seeing games
combo
I would have
trials
never
are
knew
invaluable.
existed.
But what happens when you're ready for the next step, like an actual match? Well, for many, they'll struggle to remember even one of the combos they learned, and they freeze up or revert to mashing buttons.
Oh. It's Corone. Pull up. I don't think you can see her. Oh, yeah, you can. Isn't that wholesome?
This is because combo trials are based off of the learning styles method of teaching. To sum that up, this approach groups people into 4 groups based on their most effective learning style. The styles are visual, audio, reading and writing, and kinesthetic. You can see all of these types of teaching
It just
in
goes
the way
to
fighting
show
games
that
try to teach us.
fighting games are educational.
Many games will have visual demonstration of their combos, which are usually helpful. Tekken has a system that breaks its moves down by audio cues, which can help players understand when to press a button in a string or a combo. Some games feature demonstration modes or character description that sum up their overall game plan, and kinesthetic just means hands-on, which all combo trials already are. So, if fighting games have all of these bases covered in one way or another, what's the problem? Well, learning styles as an approach to teaching have somewhat been debunked lately. There wasn't really a study made to support this theory, it just seemed natural to most, as I'm sure it did to you.
It's false. No way. Not this time. We created it. Not this time. No.
Many consider themselves visual learners or better when they can get their hands on something, but realistically, it's just not that simple. When teaching someone a combo, it isn't just the order of the buttons pressed, but the meaning of why they're pressing, or in other words, the context. We've all been in a situation where we're fighting an opponent and we land a jump-in on them.
Hey,
or
Zora,
some
how
sort
are
of
you
big
doing?
opening. It's the perfect opportunity
in.
to unleash that big combo we learned in the trials mode a day or 2 ago, but after you land that first hit, something is just a little off. The opponent is a bit further away, or maybe you hit the attack too high up, and now you can't land that big combo. It's happened to all of us.
Oh, remember
and
when...
It's not that you forgot how to do the combo, but rather the situation is just
I
different.
won't talk about this specific streamer.
This is where combo trials drop the ball. The trials we have in most fighting games are great for giving us a solution to a problem.
It's crazy.
But they're mostly not
That's
great
very crazy.
at teaching us how to get the solution for ourselves. I'll get into a real life scenario
Oh,
for
it's
this
Leon.
one. So, here's a Kyo combo in
AKA
King of Fighters
Kyo.
15. This is the first combo that Kyo has, and it's not that hard to complete. It's pretty much one button into some follow-ups, but as I'm doing it, I don't know what I'm actually doing. For the people watching this who don't play King of Fighters, can you tell me what's happening? Obviously, the next response is to check out the move list and see if it can tell me what I'm doing in this combo. And after looking at the move list, I'm genuinely more confused than I was before I looked. So, frustrated with all of that, I decided to keep pushing forward and try out more trials. Here's the last one. What am I looking at here? This is a bit ridiculous, and the game doesn't even try to help me out here. I can go look for the key of images, but why wouldn't the game, knowing it's my first time here, try to help me out at all? Well,
what is that? So what, you go down first this way, and then you go back to the middle, and then you go over here, and then you punch and kick at the same time. Oh wait, no. All of that is happening with a punch and kick. So the movement is literally just boom, boom, boom. That is
eventually I find out what
that
the
is a
symbols mean,
complex
and I get
move.
the combo done, and I decide to check out the demo just out of curiosity. And after watching the computer finish, I noticed that it did a bit more damage than I did. So now, as the player, I've got to go in and find out why that is. And it's because I canceled too early, and fine, that's not a big deal. The combo was cool, and at least now I know I can try to land it in a match. Sorry, let me get that 1 second. What's that? The combo isn't practical.
He's talking
in a match?
to an Animal Crossing resident right now.
Because it looks cool. Right. Okay, thanks. So yeah, the resource that's up until this point
So this is
been
King of
showing me
Fighters.
practical combos has now made me spend my time learning something that I will almost never use. That's great. And
I am
with
so
all
ready.
Of this, it really makes you ask.
He
who
has
is
the
this
Animal
for?
Crossing
Is it
villagers
for the
on
new
speed
players?
dial.
Well, it's clearly not
I can
intended
only
to help them
imagine
learn the
being
game,
him,
since it mostly will
having
confuse them and
the,
teach them
like,
bad habits. Is it for the
knowing
experienced players?
some people in
Well,
the background.
No, it's probably not for them either, because they've already got the legacy knowledge for how to do these combos, and they're well aware that it's practically useless. And the combos aren't hard enough
Wow.
to justify even being a challenge. When I was trying to learn King of Fighters 15 a year ago, these trials were my least favorite part of the game because of all the reasons listed above. I was given
Is this King of
problems,
Fighters? This looks
which were
like-
the combos, but at no point did the game try to teach me how to make my own combos or even
No,
help
it
me
is King of
understand what the moves did. My first videos on this channel were actually demonstrations of how to use special moves in King of Fighters that I made to help me learn the game. Street Fighter V at least takes a better approach to the combo trial. The trials serve very clear purposes to teach players fundamentals in the game, as well as situational combos. There's jump-in combos, corner combos, and crush counter combos, all there to learn and practice.
Today was literally the most I've ever complained about, well, not complained, the most I've ever been salty in a game in my life. I was absolutely just like, no, what, no, don't do that, do this. And I'm looking back at it and I'm like, yeah, no, that's how I know this game has me.
Which helps players understand the context of when they should use these combos.
Not this game, but
the
Guilty
game
Gear
could do with
Strive.
labeling them for newer players, but still, they're there. Street Fighter V even goes above and beyond with its demonstration mode, detailing what moves are plus or minus and how to use them in a match.
Average competitive,
In addition to that, players are even incentivized to check these
game.
out since their demonstrations and trials reward you with fight money. But what if I told you that this was also part of the problem? When a new player jumps into the game and wants to learn a character, naturally they would start with Volume 1, right? Especially if they're going to get fight money for it. Well, the earlier volumes of these trials run on different frame data and even movesets, depending on the season of the game that they're from. The game warns players of this, but to be honest, I think the message is more confusing than anything, especially if they have
Wow,
no
he is
context
destroying
for what's
him.
actually changing. Here's
Oh,
a
that's
more
a
extreme
CPU, that's
example.
why.
This is a Juri combo from Season 1. Basic cross-up combo and light confirm. This is undeniably useful, and it actually does still work in Season 5, as shown here. There's just one slight problem. Later in Street Fighter V's lifespan, Juri's DP changed from a kick button to a punch. So right off the bat, if you're looking to learn Juri, the game might have inadvertently lied to you, and you might not have even noticed. Especially when learning, a DP isn't easy.
What in the world?
This very well could lead to some people never picking the game back up because they feel it's too difficult when, really, they were just pressing the wrong buttons or doing outdated combos. And this leads us into our question of the day once more. Who is this for? In Street Fighter V, it's a good bit more obvious.
Oh, I know that guy.
Combo trials are for new players and to teach everyone what the new updates are all about. V-triggers, V-skills, and balance changes usually get their own dedicated trials,
Blanca.
which can help us understand who Capcom is targeting.
He looks
Rob
so
Coe,
weird.
A professor
But
at
you
Durham
know,
University,
I'm not here to
released a study
judge.
showing that methods like this don't really work for teaching new skills. Things like grouping students by ability, which would be ranked mode, giving unearned praise, which would be like fight money for outdated combos, and leaving students to discover complex ideas on their own, all actually hinder learning rather than encourage it.
Hey, creature!
Oh no.
Leave that kid alone!
Oh, they're so
What great
Chad-like.
teachers do is give their students
They got
the
those
tools to learn
Chad
for
chins.
themselves with high quality instruction, and luckily, some games actually nailed this idea.
Learning skills.
A great teacher once said, "Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I remember. Involve me and I learn."
I will
This
remember
is what
before
learning
I forget.
skills are at their core. Pretty much anything that involves learning to use a tool properly. Some people are better at using training mode than others, and some can understand how to apply frame data in real time.
That's +5!
Yeah,
That's +5!
Combo trials
they
have an
fighting
issue
each
with
other in
involving
training
the
mode?
player on the other end, leading to people not taking away the knowledge they probably
it's
should in the
Emery.
long run. You see it in every game. A trial that starts with a big button and does tons of damage. The natural takeaway for most people here is, I should
What
try
game
to
is
smack
this?
people with my biggest buttons and do the most damage. Now, if you played a fighting game, you know why that doesn't work, so I won't get into it.
Profound sadness!
What I will get into are the more transformative trials of fighting games. Granblue Fantasy Versus was one of the first big-budget fighting games aimed at simplifying inputs in fighting games in general for a wider audience.
Oh, this
I'd
is
say they
Grand Blue.
succeeded in creating a balance between the simplified inputs and complicated nuance of fighting games, and a big help in that was their mission
Double
training
KO.
mode. In this mode, you find normal combo trials as well as trials to help players just get accustomed to motion inputs. This level of feedback is something missing from most fighting games, so I definitely appreciate it. They also solved a lot of the
I also
issues seen
felt
in
bad.
Fallout 50.
I also felt bad for that one guy who just kept getting destroyed by my one spam attack because I didn't know how to grapple him.
Teens trial, like where I had no idea what each move in Kyo's Rekka did or its frame data. In Granblue Fantasy, those kinds of things are built right into the command list. This character, 6, has a Rekka that's explained right in the game, no need for an outside resource. But what truly sets this mission training mode apart is its matchup section. Because of how simple characters are, it's easy to break down their offensive game plan into a few favorable situations. Granblue Fantasy Versus acknowledges this and gives the
Wow, that
keys to the
character
player
can't be
right off
fun
the
to
bat.
fight. They're
Now,
small.
you don't have to play a matchup
If you
dozens of
jump,
times to
you're
get a feel for
definitely
when your
not going
opponent
to land a
is plus or how
jumping
punishable
attack
a
on
move
them.
is. Instead, Granblue sets up the
At least for
situation
me.
for you and actually scores you based on damage or execution. This is incredible for so many reasons, but I think it actually speaks for itself. The coolest ones in my opinion are those that ask for a certain amount of damage, which basically gives a hint as to how punishable something is, and encourages the player to search for the optimal punish. Even if you can't find the max damage combo with your character, at least you'll walk away with more applicable knowledge about the game than you had before. Tekken's got something similar
wait a
called
second.
punishment training. Now, in a game without a proper tutorial and only a few combo trials,
Isn't that
this mode is invaluable.
Isn't that
Each
character from
in Tekken
Zenless
7
Zone
has
Zero?
upwards of 100 moves, so learning to punish them can be an almost insurmountable task for new players. But this new mode is a fantastic way to get people
What in the
started.
world?
So, looking at this, we now have to ask, who is this kind of thing for? Well, really, I'd say it's for everyone. Granblue Fantasy Versus is a totally new fighting
What a
game
quick
franchise,
video.
so it's not like there's any legacy knowledge to give anyone a leg up on the newbies. It's also a great example of how to help players fight against DLC characters if they don't own them. Now, you can still practice how to beat them without forking over your money, and in Tekken 7's case, I'd say it's for like 90% of the player base. Sure, lots of time.
Yeah, no, I don't know about Tekken 7. Every time a DLC character comes out for any Tekken game in general, it ends up... It's like an invasive species that just gets introduced to new land. They absolutely destroy the other characters.
Top-level players won't have much use for it, but for most of the people fighting online, punishment training is a godsend.
Like Clive, for example. When Clive was introduced to Tekken 8, no one was having fun fighting against him. He was too OP.
We need to see more of this in games in the future. There's one game, though, that encapsulates the mission of these other two games, and then some. And that's Guilty Gear Strive.
That's my game.
This game has dozens of missions to help players deal with character matchups and tells you straight up what's safe and what's punishable. Obviously, the developers understand the properties of the moves because they made them, but this mode is them straight up showing you how they intend for you to interact with said
What
moves.
in the world?
It's a beautiful thing, and as far as I know, no game wraps up matchup knowledge in such a neat little package as well as Strive does. The packaging is incredibly important, as presentation is what sparks the imagination of the players in the combo trial. If your trial takes place on the grid with the same song every time and no interaction with the game, you'll have a harder time remembering what you learned. Compare that to how Guilty Gear does it. You get immediate feedback from the game, and it guides your hands through the trials with repetition and text descriptions before and after. The last part of the genius of Strive's combo trials is the Combo Maker mode. This mode allows players to create scenarios for other players to try out themselves. This includes block strings, mix-ups, as well as just regular combos. Arc System Works isn't afraid to give their players the tools to learn.
Oh, Bunny's online. Wow.
And I find that to be genius, because you could spend literal hours learning these combos and not realize you're actually learning deeper things in the games, like Oki setups. Involving the players in the learning process allows them to find their own problems, solutions, and means to overcome whatever comes up in the future. This is Trackmania, an arcade racing game that's grown into a huge success with a large dedicated community over the last 2 decades. Trackmania runs on completely deterministic physics and is insanely technical at times, but it's also incredibly simple. You don't need a tutorial to understand it, as it's simple in design, but to improve, the game can throw a lot at you. There's different surfaces that affect the car's grip or acceleration. The car shifts gears at certain speeds, which changes your control around turns. And even driving lines too close to barriers can cause your car to get air and lose speed. I'd argue that the tech and knowledge of Trackmania goes even deeper than a lot of fighting games do. But if that was so, why can Trackmania attract so many new players as easily as it does, and fighting games just seem to struggle? The answer is pretty simple. Feedback.
Look, Doogie, I'm up to my cha-chas and busy work, so I'm gonna go ahead and take a rain check on your report card. Just have you do it yourself.
Yeah.
You didn't even fill out my name.
To start, I wanted to try out a track. After doing so just twice, I understood all of the controls and wanted to try to understand some of the game's mechanics a bit better. So then, I hit the training mode. And yeah, this racing game has a training mode. I wanted to get the gold medal for the first 10 training tracks, since they're pretty much the trials of the game. The trials showed me pretty much what I expected. I got to learn how to deal with certain surfaces, different specialty blocks, and what the game expected of me on turns. Some of them were really easy, others took me upwards of 30 minutes to get the gold on, but what was interesting was that I never felt confused or out of control. It was always pretty clear that there was something to improve, whether that was a strategy or just my inputs. And that's where I think the difference lies. In combo trials, there's not usually a why. I don't know why I'd want to end a combo with this move instead of this move, especially because this move does more damage. But it's pretty obvious in Trackmania why I'd try to skip the slow motion block here.
What was that?
The game's feedback to the player is a product of what they've done directly. You save time, and you get better medals. This rewards you to experiment even after you've completed your goal, because there's always more. Just
What
because
in the
I can
world?
give the right answer to a problem doesn't mean I understand how to arrive at the solution. And in saying that, I
No,
realize that it's not a
100%.
one-to-one comparison. You can't complete a combo trial better than you've completed it, as opposed to a racing game where you can almost always improve your time. But that's when I ask you, why not? Grand Blue has shown us that you can gauge trials by more than just if it was completed or not. Like, why not have certain trials that judge your combo choice by how good your Oki is after the combo is over? Or why not have certain trials that reward players on
That
if
was
they complete it
awesome.
with precise inputs or not? The combo trials we've gotten are mostly so bare bones, and they don't
That was
actually
cool.
give new players many tools to learn the game they've just invested so much time and money into. There's little to no feedback from the game itself, and trying to learn with no feedback leads
Do
to
it
all sorts
fast.
of terrible consequences.
Oh, I know those guys.
Sit down, calm down, calm down. Let's have a serious discussion.
At the end of the day, I know fighting games are mainly seen as these two-player competitive games, so it's easy to devalue single-player content like combo trials, but let me tell you this. Trackmania players are some of the most competitive dudes I have ever seen. They will literally spend thousands of hours on one track just to be the best, and they've pushed Trackmania to its human limit in so many ways. So to say that fighting games are any different, I think couldn't be further from the truth. Some players are still grinding those ridiculous Street Fighter 4 combos a decade after the game's release. Melee seems to evolve
Wow.
as an esport every 6 years or so, and the process for learning a fighting game just really hasn't changed. But if we want to invite new players into the community and keep them around, combo
Oh,
trials
this guy.
need to change, and there's no question about it.
He's the guy
That's
that
all-
was like, I had to show him who's the alpha. That was a good video.
For now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Oh, okay. I thought he had something extra to say. What is this one?
Of Tekken 8 was first announced, we
That's,
were given a very rare and well-needed moment of hope for the community. As everyone knows,
Control,
2025
boom.
was a horrible year for Tekken fans. Of course, because of Season 2, which, all things considered, was not only the worst update in Tekken history,
have this video.
but likely in all of fighting games. This was an update that doubled
just
down on
nothing but
every
fighting
single
games for me.
aspect of the game that the community hates. The forced 50-50s, the stances, the 30-second combos, the death in 2 interactions, all of it. Nobody liked Season 2. And after the slog that followed, with us waiting months and months for these tiny patches, these minute steps
I
in the
actually
right
seen this
direction,
video, didn't I?
until they
Oh,
decided
yes,
to
I
stop
did.
patches altogether, because everyone
I think
knows
I
it's
watched like up
impossible
to
to patch a
here,
game
and then
while
I
there's
was like, all
tournaments
right,
going
yeah,
on.
no, I gotta watch this
We
on
were at
stream.
an all-time low in the Tekken community.
So I'll watch this part
we
again.
needed a win, and this Season 3 reveal in January served as just that. Alongside revealing the next 3 DLC characters all at once, they gave us our first trailer for Season 3. A trailer that has become notorious for all the wrong reasons. More conventional, more focused, more deliberate, a fresh start, and of course, back to basics. Oh my god. When we first saw this, we were over the moon. It seemed like Namco was finally listening to us. They were finally understanding why so many people have
Namco.
problems with modern Tekken, and they were showing us that they had learned their lesson from Season 2. I mean, this makes sense, right? After all, they are a business. The negative PR from Season 2 absolutely affected the sales of both the game itself and its DLC. I've gotten so many comments from people who said they were previously interested in giving the game a try, but were turned
that's
off
not-
by the
that's not
community's
him.
reaction to
Okay.
Season 2 and decided to never bother. Namco must have noticed this, and you would think that they would be doing everything in their power to fix their mistakes with the game and start earning some goodwill back from the community. Come on, it's just obvious. This is business. If all of your customers are unhappy with your product, then you change that product. That's how you make money.
When I was reading one of these, one of them compared it to like Call of Duty. Or no, it was I think I can remember it at the top of my head. It was like something like this is like Battlefield trying to become Call of Duty. That's what they
Prior to
That's
any
what
of this,
they said.
I would have bet money on Season 3 being, at the very least, inoffensive.
And then I knew
because
what this
if
game
it
was going to
isn't,
be like
where
from
does that
just
leave
that
Tekken 8? Would they really be so incompetent as to let
just
their
from that review alone.
new shiny game completely die in the eyes of casuals? There's no way they would just let Tekken 8 die, right? That was what I was thinking at the time. And again, the trailer signaled that for the first time in this game's life, the devs were somewhat on the same page as players. Things were good.
That's a shame because
Until
I really
that
wanted to get
fateful
into
day
this
in
game.
February, where we got our very first updates on Season 2.
Which I might actually.
This is where it all began.
Stage 1, denial.
In this blog article they gave us, we were given info on a couple new system changes early. Heat Smash is no longer wall splats. Great. And these annoying ass installs now go away after heat. Also great. Wow, this season is already looking good. And then I kept reading. They were, for some reason, clarifying what they meant when they said back to basics. Now, I didn't think the phrase back to basics would require any clarification. I mean, these 3 words in particular are very specific to the Tekken community. I don't think there was a lot of confusion on what back to basics meant. I'm sure there were some delusional people who thought there was any chance they would remove key Tekken 8 systems like Heat, but most of us knew that wasn't going to happen. We all rightfully assumed that by back to basics, they mean a further emphasis on defense, which is the one thing Tekken 8 in its current state is missing. Offense is way too easy and way too oppressive. The amount of work you have to put in to counter someone's offense versus the effort it takes to mash buttons on their block is a joke. This is the biggest problem with the game. So what else could back to basics mean? Why did they have to clarify here? And then I kept reading. These terms do not denote a return to earlier Tekken battle systems.
That person
nor
had
do
a
they imply drastic,
rocket launcher.
comprehensive changes introduced in a single update. Season 3 does not guarantee dramatic, immediate shifts, such as substantially strengthening defense or significantly weakening offense, in ways that diverge from the intended game.
What did that remind me of? I saw this video. even Razvi was kind of like telling me about it. Or no, it was not a video that Razvi showed me, but Razvi also like kind of reminded me of this video that I was thinking about. It was like why this martial art was like bad and stuff like that. And then it was like, yeah, this martial art falls flat when, and then it's just like he pulls out a gun. And then I was like,
the
oh,
philosophy of Tekken 8. When I read this, I was floored. And keep in mind, this was over 3 weeks before we got Season 3.
That reminded me.
I don't think I had ever seen a balance team try to damage
I would also
control
lose
an
if someone
update
pulled out a
before
9mm
the patch
handgun.
notes are even out yet.
This is the guy that
And to be very clear, that
nearly
is exactly what this was. It is
destroyed this
damage
game.
control. They knew
Live.
people's excitement and hype based on the first trailer was not in line with the changes they were actually planning, and felt they had to say something now so we wouldn't all be extremely disappointed when the patch notes release. They thought our expectations were too high. But
Getting
why were our expectations
destroyed.
so high? It's probably because they raised them themselves. More conventional, more focused, more deliberate. The trailer they released said all of this, and a month later, we get this backtrack. How can you on one hand say we're going back to basics, and then on the other hand, say that Season 3 doesn't guarantee dramatic shifts in the gameplay meta? What are we going back to then? At this point, I'm thinking to myself,
we're going back
no
Tekken.
way. There is no way this is happening. They've had almost a full year to work on this patch. They know exactly what our problems with Season 2 were, and they hyped us all up a month ago by telling us we were going to get what we wanted. There is no way they would just lie to us.
I wish
so
I was good at
blatantly.
fighting games.
I must be missing something here. This trailer and this following blog post felt like they were made by completely different people who had completely different ideas of how the season would be.
But
And
one
again,
day,
my expectations weren't
that is
insane.
definitely going
They were
to
purely
happen.
based on what the Tekken team had told us. They intentionally made this trailer to hype up the community and restore good faith, even though they knew it would be inaccurate. They lied to us. And again,
What?
this was a month before we even got patch notes. They also said in this article that rather than this being one huge update, it would be a single step in a group of incremental refinements. This was honestly one of the most upsetting things of all, and in retrospect, this was them telling us that Season 3 won't be the big update we've been looking for. And keep in mind the context here. We had been dealing with Season 2's bullshit for the past year. And for that entire
Frame
year,
advantage
we've gotten
28.
no major changes. Instead, getting these insultingly small, tiny patches that fix maybe 10% of the game's issue. And this whole time, everyone is telling us, just wait for Season 3, guys! Just wait! Season 3 is going to be the patch we're all waiting for. The Tekken World Tour is going on right now. Obviously, they can't patch the game. Just be patient. And Tekken themselves are hyping up this update as a big return to form for the series. And after all that,
return to form is the biggest red flag that any company
like
can give.
Small step,
because that means they've already deviated from the way their game was before.
in the right direction. I gotta tell you guys, I cannot stand that phrase anymore. And at this point, there's so much going through my head. Are these two good,
anything that a company will do to try and get their game back, it's always gonna be very bad. Or well, not bad, but it's gonna be like it's not gonna be not like enough to get back their fan base, because at that point the game's already kind of dead.
Small system changes, all we're going to be getting in Season 3? Is this patch not going to give us significant nerfs to the top tiers who have been making this game a living hell? Surely there's no way. And little did I know just how worse things were about to get.
Stage 2. Bargaining.
I spent days thinking about this, and the conclusion I ended up coming to was that there's something we're missing here. Surely, during a period where this game is more hated than ever, the Balance team wouldn't blatantly lie to us and deliver another underwhelming step in the right direction patch. Tekken 8 has needed a win for so long now.
Yeah.
We needed a win really badly when Season 2 first released. As much as we all like to clown on the Balance team, I'll regurgitate again, it is a business at the end of the day. They certainly have a vested interest in keeping the community engaged. Otherwise, the game's active player base and sales numbers are going to continue to decrease. So many people were saying they were going to quit if Season 3 didn't hit. Maybe there is some hope after all. Maybe, just maybe, they were underestimating the changes they made in this blog. Maybe they wanted to keep our expectations down so they could surprise us, and then it would end up being more than what we expected, not less. What if they're just lowering our expectations so they can surprise us all? I was smoking unhealthy amounts of copium for the next month leading into the patch. And then the day came. Patch note day.
It's not just smoke and mirrors.
I opened up OBS and started recording my live reaction to the patch notes. And it didn't take long for the reality of the situation to set in. The very first character changes were Elisa. In version 3.0, we focused on expanding her routes into destructive form. These adjustments are intended to make it easier to build offensive pressure centered around destructive form. And suddenly, I'm getting Vietnam flashbacks of the past year. They didn't just buff this motherfucker, did they? It must be a typo. And then reality set back in. This was the first character. I was incredibly worried about this patch being a small, but ultimately inoffensive update. I knew it wouldn't be enough, but I thought it would be a step forward. Instead, what we got here was fucking Season 2.5.
Are you kidding me?
We waited all this time.
So they're like, all right, yeah, you know, we heard you all out there complaining, rightfully so. We're gonna give you an update. We're gonna patch one of the characters. We're gonna make them kind of OP. And then we're just gonna throw your face into the dirt and, you know,
for a repeat
fuck you
of
all
Season
over.
2. Even now, almost a week out from the update, I am still completely dumbfounded that the Balance team could be this incompetent. What we ended up getting here was a patch that gave us a step in the right direction, and 2 steps right back towards Season 2. This update, to put it plainly, is horrible.
1 step forward,
Even
2
in a
steps
vacuum,
back.
this is a pretty poor patch. But when you combine it with the fact that it's following up Season 2, and we've been waiting desperately for changes for the past year, it becomes, in my opinion at least, Tekken's biggest fuck-up ever. Yeah, we're always going to
Yeah,
remember
they
Season
threw.
2 for the disaster it was. But imagine the redemption update, the one that they hyped up being back to basics, to also be a failure. This is the reality. We are living in the worst timeline possible. I actually thought it was impossible for things to get so bad, but here we are. We've been seeing pro players quitting left and right, thousands and thousands of more regular players like us just completely giving up.
Oh wow,
And
they
most upsetting
threw
of all,
big.
Season 3 took away any chance of getting Arsenalty back.
They
I don't know
threw
if I
big
can ever
time.
forgive Namco for that one. Incompetence. That's the only word I think is appropriate right now to describe the Tekken 8 team. This was supposed to be a brand new team, by the way. Supposedly the old team responsible for Season 2.
Hold up. Incompetent meaning. Not having to or showing the necessary skills to do something successfully. Oh.
2 got
Oh,
fired.
I get it.
Was that a lie too? Like
I
when
thought that I don't know why that I just thought that meant, oh yeah, you're rude or something like that. No, it just meant that they don't live up to the standards.
games director Nikatsu apologized for Season 2 and
I shoulda
promised they would
knew.
regain our trust? Is this just another lie? Seems that way to me. I'm honestly just speechless. I can't believe this actually happened. I'm actually getting angry just writing this script. And trust me, I'm gonna get a whole lot angrier. Let's go into some specifics and take a look at this patch.
Writing
We're gonna go
the
over
script?
Some of the most offensive
He's not
issues
reading
here,
the script?
because some people who aren't too familiar might think I'm exaggerating with how bad this is.
What in the world?
See, on paper, there is actually more to like here than in Season 2. This is mainly because there are way less changes overall to every character, which just means they had a much smaller chance of accidentally destroying characters compared
he's
to what
writing
they
it
had in
right
Season
now
2.
as he's
There's
speaking.
just less changes, so they weren't able to fuck up as much. In terms of the actual content of the patch, though, is Season 3 really that different from Season 2? Let's go over it. Just like in Season 2, we got a
No.
few nerfs to the top tiers that we've been asking for. The Anna and Asuka nerfs are actually pretty great, and the Brian, Clive, and Claudio nerfs are also all welcome, though if you ask me, none of these three got hit even remotely hard enough. This is very similar to last season, where they nerfed Brian, they nerfed Jin, they nerfed Yoshi, Dragunov, and a bunch of other top tiers. So in both patches, we got nerfs to top tiers, and in both of them, it wasn't enough. Okay, great. Also, just like last season, we got some pretty good system changes. Last year, it was the buff to sidesteps and the nerf to stage hazards, which was great. Now, it's
Wow.
the nerf to heat smashes and installs that they announced ahead of time. Again, these are both great. But these are the same small amount of positives as Season 2. And unfortunately, in my eyes at least, this is basically it when it comes to positives. Let's get into the negatives now. Just like in Season 2, multiple characters, even top tiers, were buffed for
Huge amount of character-
absolutely no reason. Most of us rational people in the community agreed that after the unreal power creep of last season, no one needs buffs.
No one was talking
Every
about this
character
buff,
is incredibly strong.
I guess.
Rather than buffing anyone up, we should focus
That
on
is my
bringing the
guess,
power level
anyway.
down to the current low tiers. No buffs, all nerfs. That's what they needed to start moving towards a balanced game. I didn't realistically expect this. I thought there would definitely be a few buffs to some of the less played low tier characters, but what I did not expect was buffing top tiers once again. They cannot fucking help themselves.
What?
Martial Law, a top 5 character and a competitive staple, not only avoided nerfs, but was buffed and is now a stronger
What
character
in
than he
the
was in
world?
Season 2.
Why would they do that?
Alisa, same deal. Seemingly buffed for no reason. June, one of the most hated characters in Season 2, gets buffed. Hope you like laser beams. Leo, one of the most underrated characters in the game, but still decidedly a top tier character, gets giga buffed. Same deal for Victor. Same deal for Lydia. If all the characters I just mentioned here had stayed the exact same, we would still, rightfully so, be very upset. All of them needed nerfs if there was any chance of this game becoming well balanced. There would have been a ton of complaining that these guys got away with murder. But it turns out, in Season 3, they don't just get away with murder, they get rewarded for it. Now getting the green light from the devs to step up from homicide to war crimes. I can't believe they would be this incompetent. Of course, it wasn't just the top tiers. Plenty of other characters got significant buffs. So there goes any chance of bringing the baseline Tekken 8 power level down. They simply want every character to be broken, which means for us, the players, that we have to keep playing this game where fighting 90% of the roster is equivalent to dragging a cheese grater across our nutsacks. Why is the majority of the cast buffed here? Remember Jin, my main,
these guys are getting
arguably was already
portrait.
ruined coming into Tekken 8 and absolutely dominated Season 1. He then got nerfed pretty hard in Season 2, but of course, because he's Namco's golden boy, he gets a ton of crazy compensation buffs that keep him as a top tier anyway. This was Season 2, and guess what happened to him in Season 3? It's the same shit. His heat smash is nerfed, and his combo length is nerfed too. Nice. But in exchange, he gets buffed on a ton of his moves, and gets a
everything I hear about Tekken is horrible.
We definitely needed that, right guys? We've swapped one cancerous god heat button for another. That can now be used multiple times
except
as well.
for its
Why
glory
is the
days.
balance team so allergic to just nerfing characters? We don't need compensation buffs. It's like in Season 2 when people complained about low heat smashes, so Namco said, okay, we'll make them slightly weaker, but now you can do 3 of them per heat bar. By the way, that is still
Tekken to me is going through like a Halo kind of thing, right?
unchanged.
They want to go into like this direction, but then at the same time, they're leaving their fan
It's
base.
probably never going to get changed. They just refuse to learn from their mistakes. They refuse to take community feedback. And it just seems like someone up there
They're
has
out
a
of touch
clear
with their
vision for
fan
what they want
base.
Tekken 8 to be. And even despite literally no Tekken players liking that vision, they're insisting on pushing it out anyway. Sure, they'll toss us a few bones occasionally. The sidestep buffs last season, the heat smash nerfs this season, but at the end of the day, the game is not changing. This really is Season 2.5. The game does not feel any different, and those cancerous top tiers that we've been begrudgingly dealing with for the last year will now be replaced with a whole new set of even stronger god characters.
Wow.
Lovely. Once is a mistake, but doing the same thing again after a full year of feedback, this is just embarrassing. If Season 2 was 20% positive changes and 80% negative, Season 3 is maybe 40% positive, 60% negative. But again, there's only more positives in this patch because there's less stuff overall. And even then, this isn't a good number. We waited a year for another patch that is majority negative? To be clear here, they knew exactly
Looks like that one movie with
Remember the damage
Will
control
Ferrell in
blog
it.
they posted that we talked about earlier? Suddenly, it all makes sense now. They knew what this patch was.
Land of
and they
the
decided to
Lost?
ship it
I
out
think that's what
anyway.
it was called.
It's just incredibly blatant. Even when you look at the patch notes themselves. Previously, balance patches always contained up and down arrows, signaling if the changes were intended as buffs or nerfs to a character. And guess what is conveniently absent on the Season 3 patch notes? They probably looked at these 14 pages and realized how horrible it would look if it was once again mostly up arrows. So they removed them, thinking that maybe some people wouldn't actually read the changes themselves and notice. I honestly feel talked down to by the Tekken developers. Why do they think they can hype up the whole community saying back to basics, only to completely back down from that a month later, and then release this awful patch? Namco does not respect us as Tekken players, so why should we respect them? I don't know if I'm ever going to get over this back to basics thing. I can't believe they just blatantly lied. Was anything in this patch at all related to back to basics? Is giving chip damage to already strong moves back to basic? How about further increasing the already hideous combo length?
This is an old
Back
video,
to basics, right, guys? I think
Oh,
they
it's a month
actually
ago.
think-
Wow, they're experiencing for the first time one of the biggest red flags a company can give.
We're just stupid. I remember when I was reading the patch
For a
notes
video
live,
game.
even from the beginning, I was shocked as to how many times I was seeing stuff like, these adjustments are intended to make it easier to build offensive pressure. Did you guys see the tweet where someone analyzed this and discovered that the word
I'm no data nerd, but between converting to text to E, is that egg rip? Foo. Easier appears 52 times in 36 cases. Offense was made easier given expanded options or streamlined. The word weakness appears only twice.
easier appears 52 times? In 36 of those cases, it was offense was
he's
made
reading it.
easier or given expanded options.
I
The
see.
word weakness only appears twice. Nice, guys. To me, this is the nail in the coffin for anyone trying to defend not only this patch, but Tekken 8 entirely. Somehow, the balanced team's takeaway from the abysmal response to Season 2, definitely the lowest point in modern Tekken history, was that the community wants things to be easier. The thing that the vast majority of us hate about Tekken 8 is how easy everything has become, how streamlined offense is, how we're removing identity from these characters to make them simpler to play, how brain-dead Heat is. And here they are, seemingly doubling down on this. So much for back to basics. You know what? Maybe they didn't lie. Maybe by back to basics, they meant back to Season 2, back to core Tekken 8 values. There's plenty more issues we could talk about, like the new moves. Once again, they decided to give new moves to characters, even though this was one of the biggest issues with Season 2. A lot of characters' movesets already felt extremely bloated, but for some reason, Namco thinks what we want is adding on to them. I wouldn't be so negative if these were cool moves, but just like last year, the vast majority of these attacks
I don't know what's going on with
low-effort, reused animations. Tekken used to be the coolest looking fighting game, but we're straying further and further away from that.
What is that?
Am I the only one who thinks almost every new move introduced since Season 2 just looks like shit? Do they not have the budget to make new animations? Oh, but of course they do for Mr. Final Fantasy, who is still playing a completely different game than the other Tekken characters. Oh yeah, and speaking of low efforts, we also have the literal game-breaking bugs that came with these new moves and the patch in general. Heihachi's new charge-up attack is bugged, and if you mash it, it allows you to get the full charged +4 on block effect instantly. I've already run into people online abusing this. Feng Wei now has an unlimited usage Heat Smash on block. Back to basics, right? One of Devil Jin's Heat Engagers is bugged and wall splats from ridiculous ranges. And oh, remember how they removed the wall splat property in Heat Smashes? Well, actually, we lied. They still wall splats, if the first hit whiffs, which happens all the time. How could they miss something like this? Did they not test these changes before they published them? How is this at all acceptable for a AAA development team to ship the game's update out in this state? Are they new?
Yeah, they forgot.
Maybe it really is a whole new team. Maybe Nikatsu hired a team who had never balanced a game before. I don't know what to think here.
That's what happened, they forgot.
There are so many more glitches I haven't talked about. Even more than in Season 2, which I thought was impossible, because that was a buggy mess too. And the game was left in this state for over a week. We heard nothing. Until just now, as I'm editing this video, they announced an emergency patch for the 25th.
An emergency
I'm really hoping this patch gets rid of at least the majority of the bugs, but we all know there's going to be a ton that slips through the cracks. And what about the...
Oh no, the game's not doing well. Oh, we forgot to patch the game. Like we said we would. No. The worst case scenario, we forgot to update the game. We said we were going to update the game, but we left it at 2.0.
Who knows when we get fixes for them. But don't worry, guys. They introduced the Tekken Feedback Portal, which in reality is a Discord server where people can complain about their character.
Oh, nice.
And already, people are doing just that. Based on the feedback we've already seen people submit in here, I have zero hope
Namco
for
needs to
this.
join that Discord server
Remember
right
last
away.
Season when people complained about ranked being too easy and inflated? Well, now it's like 10 times easier, because Tekken 8 is in love with that word. They can't get enough of it. Everything needs to be easier. Can't have people putting work in. Everyone should be able to pick up the controller, mash powerful buttons, and rank up. Great. Way to go, Season 3. Back to basics, am I right, guys? And I'm so excited now for all the Namco
Pac-Man?
Glazers to come running in saying, "What did you expect? They told us it wouldn't be a huge update. We just gotta keep waiting. Just be patient." And after we get the next inevitably disappointing patch, they'll be telling us, "Oh, well, it's just small updates. You can't expect them to fix the whole game. Just wait for Season 4. And this whole cycle will continue.
Wow. Oh, depression?
So this is Season 3. This is what we waited for, what we held out hope for. Looks like we fell for it again. Where does this leave us? Well, I'm sure the game will slowly improve. Maybe we'll get a patch every 3 months this year, maybe even more than that, focusing on fixing the game. Realistically though, how long is that going to take? Every season we've gotten so far has not only ignored fixing core, systematic problems, but also managed to create a whole new group of problems in turn. As long as we keep this up, I don't know if this game will ever be in a good state. You can only do so many one step forward, two steps back before the deficit becomes too large. The majority of this game's problems from Season 1 are still present, and now we need to worry not only about undoing Season 2's mistakes, but also undoing Season 3's? And we're doing that with these tiny patches they insist on releasing? I don't know how we ever catch up here. And if the Season 3 patch was all they could manage to fix in a year,
she has a shark
it seriously makes me rethink the time frame. How long until we can call Tekken 8 a well-designed fighting game? 2 more years?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't even know if we'll ever get to that point. I think this is more or less the beginning of Tekken 8's death. Obviously, this is a vast over-exaggeration. The game's never going to go dark. There's always going to be players for sure. But in terms of the game's reach, it might be over. Tekken 8 was already struggling due to Season 2 in terms of sales. It was failing to keep up with Tekken 7. But after this, I don't know if there's any coming back from it. I would bet money that Tekken 8 never sells as well as Tekken 7, or even close to it. The game will maintain its core dedicated player base, but is losing any real chance of growth. Casuals and potential new players were already steering clear after Season 2, but after Season 3, I don't know how you recover from PR that
What is he wearing on his
I don't
back?
actually know what Namco needs to do here. And I only see the game becoming more and more niche as Street Fighter 6
has a
continues to
chair
grow
on his back
and dominate even more of the fighting game markets. It wouldn't surprise me if this game actually stopped getting updates completely after Season 4. And honestly, I'm kind of in favor of that. Part of me just wants to put this nightmare behind us and go full steam ahead into Tekken 9. I think that is very likely. Though, of course, I would love to be wrong. I would love for them to come out with a patch
didn't
in the
even
next
get
month
to
that
play.
fixes all of these issues. But I have zero faith in the balance team after this. Alongside the emergency bug fix patch that we talked about earlier, Namco released yet again another blog going over their roadmap. It says they're working on balance adjustments for mid-April and another patch sometime in late spring, but if we're being real, this is all completely meaningless. They did the exact same PR blog right after the fallout of Season 2, when things were at their absolute worst. Even then, these updates didn't live up. All we got were a few very small patches before the team went ghost for Season 3. Make no mistake here, this is the exact same thing. I don't know about you guys, but I am not falling for it anymore. I'm struggling to see any possible way forward for Tekken 8 at this point. It feels like they're in too far. And remember guys, even before this patch, the game was already struggling. It's been stuck at 3 million sales for over a year now, and we've seen player numbers gradually go down. People will say, oh, just look at the Steam charts, there's still plenty of people playing. But even that is misguided. The numbers are always much higher right after a big update. But when comparing the peak players during Season 2 and Season 3, we can see a huge decline. Way more people didn't even bother trying out this patch this time around. Even though most people agree Season 2 is a way worse update, a lot of people just aren't falling for this shit anymore. Remember the whole thing with EVO Japan, where Tekken 8 was at an all-time low in terms of entrance? This was back in January, and looking at it right now is incredibly saddening.
Let's see. EVO Japan 2026 Street Fighter 6 players. Wow. I'm surprised that number isn't higher. That's my game. But it seems Street Fighter 6 is just
Street Fighter 6 has over 6,000 more entrants than Tekken, and Tekken is now about to be overtaken by Guilty Gear Strive, a 5-year-old game. This all just sucks so much because of the potential. I see those numbers for Street Fighter, and I just know Tekken could be standing alongside it. The series has always had unbelievable potential, but it's just been bad decision after bad decision, and now I think we're at the point of no return. Tekken 8 is a sinking ship, and I don't want to go under with it. I'm not going to be holding out hope for updates
Stage
anymore.
5, acceptance.
This is Tekken 8, and this is how they want it to be. They've shown that it will not change. I'm not investing any more emotional energy into caring about the state of this game, and you guys shouldn't either. Of course, if you guys still enjoy the game, by all means, keep playing it. I'm sure I'll still mess around with it occasionally, but this is me officially getting off the Tekken 8 train. I'm going to be going back to Tekken 7 and trying to stream that game here on YouTube and on my Twitch as much as possible. It sure would be lovely if any other Tekken games were made available on modern platforms, but Namco knows that if they did that, no one would ever play Tekken 8 again. So for now, Tekken 7 is the best that we've got. I'm also going to be transitioning into Street Fighter 6 as my new main game, so expect to see a ton of content on that in the coming weeks and months.
Nice.
Of course, that's not to say that I'm going to be stopping Tekken content. The most fun I actually had during Season 2 was completely ignoring Tekken 8 and revisiting the older games and making content on them, and I do plan to continue that. I have so many video ideas, covering old games, characters, and concepts, so don't worry, there'll be plenty more Tekken on the channel. But yeah, boys. You've made it to the end of the video, and this one was...
Tekken 8 isn't the Dark Souls 2, but the Devil May Cry 2.
A really hard one to make.
So that's,
I don't relish in
what's
Tekken
going
8
on
doing
here.
bad, and it's actually the exact opposite. I owe so much to this game. I wouldn't have a YouTube channel without it.
Wow. Amazing. We love to see games flop when they don't listen to their fan base. Well, it's not really a flop, I guess. Okay. Now what? Next thing. That's... I just feel sad. I just feel very bad for him. He loved Tekken. Oh, wow. So many updates. Okay. Hold up a second. We're gonna switch. Boom. Yeah, no. I am definitely going to keep playing more fighting games in the future, for sure. I think they look really fun, and every single time that I've seen, like, I don't know, a bunch of, like, pro players play it, I always got, like, jealous. I was like, you know, I wish I could do that, you know? Oh, am I still listening to that song? You know what? It's been really good. I had a fun time. And I'm surprised that I even streamed this long because I'm kind of tired. I don't know why. I've been very tired lately. So very tired. But I'm glad I got to stream today, and I'm glad that I had people to enjoy. My original plan was that I was going to play Dark Souls 2, but I don't think I have the energy to do that right now. So very abruptly, I am going to end it here. I hope you all enjoyed. I love you all. See you later.